Hi y'all, good morning. It is sunrise and it is time to get after the fish. That sun's getting ready to peek up over the trees over there, and I'm excited today, man. You know why? Because right here in this bucket, I've got us a special bait. I don't get these often, but boy, when I do, I love them. We got us some live crappie. That's right, we're gonna break some crappie fishermen's hearts today. I've got 4 live crappie, and they're slabs too. I got them in there. We're gonna drop them down. We're gonna try to catch some catfish with them today. So I'm gonna get us a couple pieces of cut bait on. We'll get the live baits on, and then me and you, we're gonna try to catch some fish today. So come with me, y'all. Let's have us some fun. I'm gonna get y'all on the chest here. We're gonna try to get these baits on, and we're gonna watch us one hell of a sunrise this morning. So I'm gonna get the cut bait on first, get that out of our way. I'll show you my rigs. I'll kind of explain where we're at. I'll show you kind of here on the map card too, where you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like on the contour map. So when you're trying to pick out places to fish where you live and where you fish at, you'll kind of have an idea of where I'm setting up, and hopefully be able to apply that to your own fishing. So if you're new to my channel, here is my suspend fishing rigs, which is what we're going to be doing today. That is an 8-ounce egg sinker on a Carolina rig. We've got a regular swivel, 80-pound monofilament, 10-aught size circle hook, and then the very end, the tag end of the line there, we've got a Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly. I'm gonna drop that down to the bottom, 62 feet here where we're set up at the moment. We'll let it sink down. I'm gonna raise it up just off the bottom. So our baits are probably gonna be around 60 feet deep today. And my plan is to set here for the duration of the trip. And I'll show you again where we're set up. I'll explain why I'm here and what I want to accomplish today as we move along. I'm just in a rush right now. I am trying to get us baited up before that sun comes up. And I've got a bug literally on my face right now. Okay, this rig here, exact same. The only difference is the bait, we had a skipjack head on the other one. We got a skipjack chunk on this one. I'm gonna drop it straight down. Get our cut bait on. I'm gonna pull us a live bait out. The live bait rig will be virtually the same with one exception. We won't have a stinger fly on the live bait rig. I've had too many instances where the fly gets eaten instead of the live bait, and the live bait gets knocked off in the fight. And I don't want to lose our live baits today, because it's rare for me to have live crappie, because I'm not a good crappie fisherman, and it's even more rare for me to have this many. And I hope these things have survived. I did not look at them before I left the house. I'm hoping that I have 4 of them in a 5-gallon bucket. I've had the aerator on them all night, so we'll see. Where's my net at? Y'all done lost my net. My gosh, I can't count onions for anything. Okay, there it is. Y'all just hid it from me. You didn't lose it, you hid it from me. Oh good, that one's still alive right there. We got one for sure that's still alive. You know what I need to do is get this, I'd put a frozen water bottle in there to kind of cool the water down last night. I see another one. So we got at least 2 alive, folks. I'm gonna hook this thing. We're gonna hook him right through his back. Now I'm gonna take him and put him on the measuring board too, just for you people out there that for some reason in the comment box, thank you game wardens, always saying, oh, Justin's using undersized crappie. No, I ain't. That thing right there, folks, that's a slab. Let me just stick him on the measuring board there for you to see. That in there, almost 12 inches. Got to be 10 inches here in Tennessee, and that's a legal bait. We can use sport fish here where I live as long as they legal size. And that one right there, folks, legal size. Boy, that's a beautiful bait. We're gonna get him gobbled up. Do us proud down there, crappie. Let's send him down. We're gonna do 1 live bait to start and 3 cut baits. I'm gonna take one of the crappie. I caught several crappie last night, or yesterday afternoon, but I couldn't keep them all in the bucket, so I kept some in my cooler, and we're gonna use them today too. Kind of just give a different option of cut bait down there. So my sinker there, it hit bottom. It'll take a Maybe take a second for that dang crappie to get down there. Okay, he's on bottom, okay. All right, we got him down there. We got him ready to be gobbled up. Man, I hope a big flathead, y'all. I want a big flathead today so bad. I can't stand it, and I hope we get him. So, I'm gonna take this other crappie I'd pulled out of the cooler here. I waited to cut him till we're ready to film because, again, too many of y'all out there in my comment box, oh, Justin, that's undersized crappie. That's illegal. Blah, 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 blah. There you go, folks. 10.5 inches on that one right there. 10.5 inch crappie. Perfectly legal. I don't know why I put my cutting board. We're gonna take that head and stick on this rod right here. That's a big, nice sized bait. Crappie head has caught me a lot of fish. I'll talk about the walls as it pertains to cut crappie. Some of y'all are percolating right now. You say, oh, Justin's about to get thrown in the pokey. He just cut a crappie, so now he can't prove the size of that bait when the game warden comes up. I hear yous out there. Listen, this ain't my first rodeo, folks. I've been doing this YouTube crap for years. I know how yous are. I know, man. Been there and done that. Well, there's that bait. There's that crappie going now. Let's get it down real quick. Okay, down it goes. I'm excited, y'all. I'm pumped up. We're about to see that awesome sunrise as it comes up over the trees. We're in a spot here. I got a feeling down in my loins we're gonna catch a big fish in today. Hopefully get several fish, but I really want a big one today. I'm bringing y'all with me too, unedited, raw and uncut. Y'all gonna see it all. You're gonna hear it all. I'm gonna tell some of these people in my comment box where they can go here in a little bit as I talk about these crappie. And me and you, we're gonna have some fun today. Let's get all that stuff out of our way. Get our net out of the way. We're ready, buddy. We're ready. We are set up. We are ready. So I'm just going to, I'm gonna leave y'all, the camera's gonna be running the whole time. So I'm gonna leave y'all in the chest here. My plan today, I'm gonna fish till lunchtime. My camera battery normally lasts around 4 hours before it craps out, so this will probably be around a 4-hour video. But before the sun gets up over there, let me show you kind of the panoramic here. You can just kind of see what's going on. Back up this direction, we've got a really long creek. It's deep, it's wide, it's really long. This is a big feeder creek here to the Tennessee River. Over here behind us, we've got an island. This direction over here, this is a really wide section of the river. It's wide and it's deep. Now right now we got a lot of current flow going down the river from all the flooding up there in the very eastern part of Tennessee, western North Carolina. Man, if y'all are affected by that, my heart goes out to you. Awful, awful what those people have went through. My area here where I live, we got a bunch of rain, but we didn't get the terrible flooding that they got. But all that rainwater that was up there in the mountains, it's making its way, water flows downhill, right? So it's coming down and they're moving it through the Tennessee River system. So over here, you got quite a bit of flow. Now, the way this island sits and the way this old creek comes out, we're kind of shielded from that current, right? It's kind of like a little current break. And we've got an area here with a defined path for fish to work out of the channel and up into this feeder creek to work into the shallows and feed. So right here, hopefully you can see on the map, and you'll have to disregard my aerator noise here. We gotta try to keep them crappie alive today. Right there's that old creek channel. And it is a defined channel. You can get up there with your graph and look, you'll see the drop off, and it comes back up. That is a defined channel. We're on the bottom edge of it here, and there's a little depression. You can see right there, about 65 feet at normal pool. We're up about a foot or so on above summer pool today. But that's where we're setting up right here, okay? We're right on the edge of the drop, bottom edge, right here kind of at the top of this little depression, this little hole. And so any flow we do have down through here, kind of hopefully put that scent in front of the fish that are working up that break line there along that edge. And any fish coming in now this creek, they're gonna have to come through our baits. So we're kind of in a place, I like setting up on places like this because you're able to intercept fish both working up and down ledges and in and out of creeks. And those, when you set up places like this, it's not if you get bit, it's when. Now, timing is always, you never know the timing of when fish are gonna move or when they're gonna be active, but you always got a chance in places like this. 7 days a week, 365, it don't matter, there's always a chance. So we're gonna put in some time here this morning and see if it happens for us. Again, water conditions out here, it's up maybe a foot. TVA does a pretty good job with flood control, and they're moving all that water downstream. They got the spill gates open at the dam above here and the dam below here. And so they're moving a lot of water. The current is significantly more current out there than what we normally have this time of year. Usually September, October, November, we have very minimal flow through the reservoirs here of the Tennessee River. But today, by gosh, there's some movement out there. So we're gonna try this spot, see how it pans out. My last video for regular viewers was filmed on Fort Loudon, and we had set up in a similar type of situation there. I was off the bottom edge of a drop. It was around 60 feet deep in front of a creek, and I caught fish all morning long there, man. It was just a consistent bite all daggone morning. And my dumb ass, yesterday, I said, you know what? I got something that works. Let me just do the opposite, you know? So I ended up coming down here, and I fished this creek here yesterday. I started at the boat ramp, at the very back of this thing. And I was dragging baits coming all the way out. And I wasn't seeing hardly diddly poo on the graph as far as bait goes until I got further on out here, almost out here to the end of the old creek channel that was here before they made the reservoir. Because all this here, you see all this and you think, well, you know, the creek probably ends back up in there, Justin. Well, no, it don't. It looks like it does now, but before they flooded this to make the reservoir, the old creek dumped out right here into the main channel, right here where we're sitting. So anyway, I fished yesterday from the back of it, real shallow, all the way out. Did not catch a thing. I had already give up on filming yesterday, but I was, man, you know me, when I got a bad idea, I'm gonna see it through. That when the ship goes down, when it sinks, I'm gonna sink with it. So I'd come all the way out, hadn't caught a daggone thing. And I got out here at the end of it and I said, you know what? I was just fishing at that point, just fishing for fun, fishing for me. I wasn't filming at that point. I'd done give up hope on getting a video. And so I come out here and I just sat a little while. And within like 10 minutes of me sitting out here on the bottom drop, I got a flathead. It wasn't a big flathead, but I mean, it was fun size. It was quality fish. I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. And I sat here a little while longer. I got a nice blue. And I was like, okay, all right. These fish, they're kind of staged up out here. They're kind of on the bottom edge of this drop. Most of the bait was out here toward the entrance or the end of this creek. And so I was like, and I'm seeing fish right now. I mean, you can see all up in here. Like this is, I don't know what those are, but there's a lot of life out here that I wasn't seeing back up there in the shallows on my way out. So anyway, after I caught that flathead and that blue yesterday, I said, I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead, because I had already been on the water a few hours at that point. It takes a long time to fish that creek. Pulling a half a mile an hour out through there, I mean, it's a long creek. So I left, I went home, I said, I'm coming back today. We're gonna hit this spot. So I went out yesterday evening, right before dark, a couple hours before dark there. And my plan was, I took my pedal kayak and I was gonna try to get us some fresh skipjack, because the skipjack we've got, they are, I caught them on Sunday, today's Wednesday. Well, so they're 3 days old now. That's about the tail end of when I want to use skipjack. It's been on ice. But I was trying to get us some fresh ones. Well, the skipjack, buddy, here today, going tomorrow. That's the story of skipjack fishing these days around here. So there wasn't no skipjack to be found where I had got them on Sunday. But once that wasn't working out, I had my ultralight rod, and I thought, oh, well, I'm at least going to get us some live bluegill. That way we can have a live bait out here today. And I was making well along. I caught 3 or 4 bluegill, had them in the bucket there. And then I hooked a slab crappie, man. I mean, he was a slab. One of the biggest crappie I've ever hooked. And he spit the damn hook right at the side of the kayak. I was like, oh, man. Oh, that was so frustrating, because I wanted to have that big crappie out here today, right? Well, I sit there and I made some more casts where I'd caught that thing. Now, I was in my pedal kayak, so I didn't even have my graph on, and my live scope's here on this kayak, so I had no live scope. But I assumed where I was throwing, there was probably a tree or some brush or something, because I was just beating the banks. I threw back over there and thump, get another one. And I landed it. I was like, all right, he's going in the bucket. And then I got another and another. So I ended up, I dumped my bucket out. I took the live bluegill that I had in there. I threw them in the cooler because I didn't want to take up space. I wanted to put as many crappie in here as I could. And so I got 4 slab crappie in there, folks, which is way too cramped for that small a bucket. But I switched out the water before I left the ramp there yesterday. The aerator's been on the whole time. I put that frozen water bottle in there last night, try to cool it down, and so far, so good. And before I leave today, if we got any left, I'll switch out that water again. And because I'd like to maybe use 2 or 3 today and leave at least 1 for tomorrow, too. That way, I don't know if we'll fish here tomorrow, if we'll fish somewhere else. We'll see how it goes today. But I'd like to have a live bait for tomorrow, too. And anyway, I sat there, and I was catching crappie one after another on this tree. Some of them was undersized, I had to throw back, but others I've got here in my bait cooler. So we got a variety of bait today. We've got live crappie, we've got crappie we can cut up, we've got the bluegill in my cooler there caught yesterday that we can cut up, and we've got some 3-day-old skipjack that we're gonna try to, we definitely need to work through the skipjack today. If we're catching fish here with it, we need to. Because whatever skipjack is left today, I'm going to dump out anyhow before I leave. So, yeah, folks, I'm excited today. Anytime I've got a big live bait like a crappie, I've caught a lot of good fish on crappie, both live and cut. But when I got a big live one, man, it just puts the tingle in the dingle, man. Because I know for a crappie that big to get eaten, it's going to be a good fish. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be a little 2-pound dink blue cat eat that big crappie. Like, that's a meal for a big fish. So if we get some fish working up in here today, and I don't know when it'll happen. Obviously, I have no idea when fish are going to turn on. Lately, the sunrise bite hasn't really panned out too well. Most of my better fish lately have come later in the morning, 9, 10 o'clock in there. Yesterday, I'd fished my way out of this creek, out to this area when I set up, and I caught that flathead and that blue. It was around 11 o'clock, I guess, when I got them. Now, hell, they could have been biting all morning out here for all I know. But it was definitely later in the morning when that happened, so don't know what to expect out here today, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. It's just the anticipation of it, the anticipation of what could happen when you've got a big live bait right there in front of a big fish that's about to work up into this creek to feed anyway. He's already hungry, he's already coming up, and we got a free meal right there. It ain't on a silver platter because I'm too cheap for it. The silver I use would turn your fingers green if you was wearing it as a ring or a necklace or something. But it's right there served up for them if they want it. And you know what? Even if we don't get bit right away, we're going to have a hell of a sunrise here in a minute. We're missing the best part of the sunrise because it's happening right now. The trees are blocking it out. But it's still always a magical sight when the sun pops up over the tree line, no matter where you're at. I think anyway. I love watching a sunrise. I especially love watching it from the water. And we're getting that time of year now. What is today? Today's October 2nd when I'm filming this. So getting later in the year, these sunrise trips are winding down. Boy, something big splashed right there. I don't know what that was, right there beside us. But these sunrise trips, as we get later in the year and the morning temperatures start getting cooler, my morning trips are gonna turn into afternoon trips. Because you ain't gonna have me out here when it's 30, 40 degrees first thing in the morning. Now this morning's comfortable. We still got warm temperatures here in East Tennessee. I think the high today is gonna be around 80. It's like 60 out here this morning, so very comfortable right now. Tennessee in October can vary greatly. Some years you'll be cold. You'll have to wear a jacket. Other years you'll be 80 degrees all year, all month long. So it's just tough to tell. I remember one year when I was a kid, it snowed on Halloween. Now we don't hardly get any snow where I live, but it snowed on Halloween. Last year in October, I think it was in the 80s the whole month. So you just never know. But regardless, we're on our final stretch of sunrise trips here for me until spring. So I want to take advantage of all of them, whether the fish are biting at dawn or not. And so today, we out here, man. We out here. I'm pumped. I hope you are too. This type of place, and I mean, I've talked about this a lot, but setting up in front of these old creek mouths. And you can open up a contour map, you can find all kinds of creeks that fed into the Tennessee River, okay? A lot of the creeks you're gonna find though on a contour map, whether you're using a physical paper map, whether you're using a Navionics app on your phone, or maybe you got a chip in your graph here like this one, it don't matter. Whatever you're looking at for a contour map, as far as the Tennessee River is concerned anyway, you're gonna see all these creeks that fed in once upon a time, back before they flooded and made the reservoirs. If you use your graph and you get out there and you investigate those creeks, a lot of them, you won't be able to find the creek anymore. Some of them maybe they were a creek back in the day, but maybe they weren't very deep. Maybe it was a creek that was only a creek when it rained hard or something. You know how it is? I mean, you know how it is right now where you live. Probably there's probably creeks that always have water flowing in them, and there's probably some creeks that you can think of off the top of your head that's dry most of the year. They only have water flowing through them when you have a bunch of rain or something. And so a lot of the creeks you'll find on that map, there's just, you scan over them there with the electronics and you won't see any kind of channel at all, because it was either a really shallow creek to begin with, or over the years that this reservoir has been formed, it's just probably silted in. The mud, the silt, all that, it just fills in and you can't really see a defined channel. But when you get these larger creeks, and you can go over them with your electronics, and you be moving along and you see the dip where it goes into that creek channel and then comes back up, those are money, folks. Every single one of them. Because what it does is it gives those fish a path. When they're coming out of deep water, they will use those old creek beds oftentimes as just a path, like me or you would use a sidewalk. They'll follow that old creek bed from the deep water up to the shallow water to feed, or to wherever in the creek that the fish are at, the bait fish are at. In this case, they don't have to move far because the bait fish out here toward the entrance of it. But nevertheless, when they're out here in the channel and they go to move up, well, they're going to follow that old creek bed. So you set up in front of those places, you're just waiting them out. It's just a matter of time, and it's 7 days a week, 365. I don't care about the weather. I don't care about the water conditions, the current flow, the moon phase. It don't matter one diddly poo, because you are putting your baits in the path that fish are going to take as they go from where they're living to where they're feeding. It's like me or you, we're driving down the interstate. Where do you see all the restaurants at when you go down the interstate? They're right off the exit, right? Because me and you, humans, we're traveling along up the interstate. We're going to go home. We get off the exit. Oh, we're hungry. Look right here. Here's a restaurant, right? We're going to pull off. It's easy. It's convenient for us. That's what we're creating for these fish when we drop our baits down in a place like this. They're already headed that direction. They're hungry. We're just making it convenient for them. That's what I love to do. That just makes fishing. You can overthink a lot of things when it comes to fishing, but when you boil it down, especially catfishing, when you boil catfishing down to its simplest form, it comes down to just putting your baits where the fish are at or where they're going to be. And this is one of the easiest ways I know to do that. And all these creeks up down through here, man, there are hundreds of them. Most of them you can catch fish. Now, you will find over the course of time when you investigate these areas, you put some time into them, you'll find that some creeks produce better than others. Some will have more fish than others. Some will have maybe less fish, but bigger fish. Some of these creeks will be seasonal. Maybe you'll get fish there in the spring, but you won't catch them any other time of the year. Maybe they'll be there in the summer at that particular creek. It varies. These blue cats are always moving. Now the flatheads, they kind of tend to stick around, but the blues, man, they're always moving. So if you get say you get a creek that's way upriver or something, and those fish, they're moving upriver, they're getting ready to spawn. You may wear fish out in the creek mouth up there in the spring, but then the rest of the year, they're just nowhere to be found. Well, why? Because those fish, when they got done spawning, they come out, they move back down river. They're not there anymore. And that's the kind of thing you figure out over the course. Look at the sun coming up right there. Look at that. Is that a magical sun? Put down your pencil right now, whatever the hell you're doing. Look up from your computer a second there and watch that sun pop up over them trees. Just take that in for a second there, folks. I've said it before, and I don't want to be all Debbie Downer or anything, but we only got so many sunrises in us. Don't take any of them for granted. You get a day to get on the water at dawn, soak it all in. Between the fact we only got so many and the fact that we never know which one's going to be our last one, it's best to just not take any of them for granted. I'm going to have to put my sunglasses on or I'm going to be seeing my last one today, by gosh, because it'll blind me. That sun's bright. Well, we missed the best part of the sunrise because it was coming up over the horizon over there beyond them trees. We couldn't see diddly poo, but it's still an awesome sight. I love it, man. I just woke up in a good mood today. I woke up feeling it today. Partially because I had a good afternoon yesterday. Anytime I luck into crappie, it's a good time because it's unexpected. I'm a terrible crappie fisherman. Even with live scope. I can find them with live scope at least when I use it, but I suck at it, man. I suck at crappie fishing, but I just lucked into them yesterday. And not only lucked into them, but lucked into big fish. Those are nice slab-sized crappie. And so I had fun with that. And I was just making a bait run. I wasn't out there trying to film or anything because I was trying to just do it quickly. I was hoping to maybe fish for an hour, get a few skips, and get us a couple live bluegill and head for the house. I wasn't trying to do like a filming video session. I was just utility trip, really, just trying to get what we need for today. And so just to get lucky out there, stumble into them things. I'm like, yeah, this is fun. I love this. And then you come out here today and I'm all full of hope and optimism with these crappie, man. So anyhow, I'm in a good mood today. Now when this video comes out and all the crappie fishermen start lighting up my comment box, I probably won't be in as good a mood. Them people, I can't stand crappie fishermen. I didn't used to hate them, but they hate me, and their visceral reaction toward me makes me hate them. And I don't know why they hate me so bad. I got 4 crappie in that bucket. I think I got 3 or 4 more there that I kept in the cooler. So 8 crappie yesterday that I kept. 8. Well under the limit. I don't even know what the limit is. 15 or 30, I can't remember. Either way, I'm well under the limit. And when you look at how many crappie I keep per year, I probably don't keep a limit of crappie for the entire year. Up to this point this year, including these 8, I've probably kept probably still less than 15 crappie. All year, 10 months of this year so far we're in, I've probably kept less than 15 total. Whereas these crappie fishermen, and you know this is true, you've seen them. You go out there to the boat ramp and you're putting in as a crappie fisherman's getting back, they always want to open up that live well and show you, look at all these crappie. I got my limit again today. And half the time when you see them, they're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these crappie. My freezer's full and I got another limit today. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. They keep every damn one they catch. I don't know any crappie fisherman that releases their catches. So why they get pissed off at me for keeping a few to use as catfish bait when they are all being so damn wasteful? You know, if their freezer is full and they're taking home more fish that they got no room for, you know damn well all of them crappie in their freezer's going to waste. Because the ones at the back of the freezer there, it's got freezer burn all over, they ain't eating them. Especially if they're good enough fishermen, they can go out and get crappie whenever they want. So it's just wasteful. You know, and don't tell me about all this feed the hungry crap either. Listen, this water out here where I fish on Tennessee River, it's contaminated, okay? There's signs up at every ramp. This launch I use back here today's got a sign up, warning, don't eat these fish. And it's got a catfish, a striped bass, blah, 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 blah. There's a few others on there. I can't remember off the top of my head. It says, do not eat. And then it's got the little disclaimer on the bottom there of why, PCBs and mercury and God knows what else, right? And then under that it says, all other fish should be only consumed like once a month by non-pregnant women or non-lactating women or whatever. And it's like, you know, these guys busting my balls because I'm not taking all these fish out of here and feeding the hungry or whatever. And it's like, what do you want me to do? Feed them contaminated fish? You want me to try to give them all cancer? I mean, just upriver from here, you had the coal ash spill several years ago. All them, I can't remember how many millions of gallons of just toxic sludge when that levee gave way at the steam plant, just went into the Clinch River and then flowed right into the Tennessee. So, I mean, you want me feeding hungry people that? Boy, if they wasn't bad off before, let's give them cancer from contaminated fish, why don't we? But by God, that's what I see every time in a damn comment box. If I try to use a crappie as a bait, I'm the devil. Because how dare I use a crappie that would be killed by every single crappie fisherman? You know, I should be keeping that fish to eat or feed somebody with. And listen, I eat steak, all right? I go to the grocery store, I buy me steak. I don't want no damn contaminated fish. That's just me. If you want to eat them, hey, go for it. To each their own. But I ain't eating nothing out of here downstream of that coal ash spill. I don't care what they say. They claim they got like 90% of it, 99%, something like that. but they didn't get all of it. It's impossible to get all of it. And all them workers up there that was working to clean all that up, Google it. They all had a class action. Most of them's dead now. When was the coal ash spill? Y'all can Google that. I can't remember when it was. It's been 15 years probably, I guess now. I can't remember the exact year, but it was awful. And all them workers that was cleaning it up, most of them's dead now. They's all getting cancer and dropping like flies. There was a class action lawsuit. It was in a newspaper, just a little blip there, because they don't cover real news on the news. They want to talk about politics, this, that, and the other, but when something real is going down in your town, crickets, silence. They ain't gonna cover that kind of stuff. So anyway, all them people got cancer. Most of them's dead, and there's no way in hell they got all of that out of here. So I'm very hesitant. If I'm anchor fishing, we're spot locked today, but if I'm anchor fishing up there and I pull up my anchor and it's got mud all over it, I don't even want to touch my anchor, man, because the mud, you know, all that sediment and stuff, it's just, all that coal, it just sank down to the bottom, on the river bottom there. I don't want to handle that damn stuff. So, but I know every time I use a crappie for bait, my comment box lights up. I had a video, and I've talked about this a few times this year. It was a short video, YouTube short from my second channel. And I'd used a crappie and I'd caught a big fish with it. That video went viral. It got, I think, around 5 million views last I looked on my second channel there. And I'm gonna kick back and relax here while we wait on these fish, y'all. Y'all bear with me as I get comfortable here. I'm gonna try to adjust this camera where y'all can be blinded by the sun and still see the rods. But anyway, that video went viral for me. 5 million views, whatever. And what happens is when you get a viral video on YouTube, especially a short video, my 4-hour long unedited videos, when one of them gets hundreds of thousands of views, it's harder for these people in foreign countries to steal those because the file sizes are so big. If their internet's not real good at whatever internet cafe they're stealing videos from, then they can't really upload a 4-hour long video. It takes, I mean, these file sizes for these unedited, they're like 90 gigabyte files. So if your internet connection's piss poor at one of these internet cafes, like, you ain't re-uploading that. But when it's a short video, a minute or less, what them YouTube shorts were, it's easy, even on bad internet. You can download them things, re-upload them, and that's what they were doing. They were taking my viral shorts videos and uploading them to their accounts all over social media to try to get a little ad revenue. And for some reason or another, man, every time they would repost it, it'd go viral for them. The people who stole from me got more, and that video got a lot of views for me, you know, a few million, but they would all get more views somehow than what I could get with it. I'm like, hell, I need to hire these damn people. They're better at this YouTube crap than I am. I don't know why they got to be stealing everybody's stuff when they're obviously better than the people that are on YouTube. But anyhow, these videos would get posted, and my viewers would then tag me in the post to let me know, like, hey, Justin, this person's stolen your video. They're making money off of you, whatnot. And then I'd get on there and fill out copyright claims. I spend half my life filling out copyright claims on social media from people who stole it from me. I think I've about got on top of everything now, I think, at the present time. I finally figured out, it's took a while to figure out the social media copyright game, but I finally figured out what I need to say on them copyright reports to not only get the video removed that's been stolen from me, but to get all of the videos that have been stolen from me all at once on a particular account. And it's going through a lot. It used to, man, Facebook was real bad. They'd deny half my claims or more most of the time. And so you'd have to keep filling it out, and filling it out, and filling it out. I've finally, it's been a trial and error process to figure out what I need to say on that damn report to be able to get all the videos removed with one swoop. So I think I about got on top of it. But anyhow, you'd have these videos get stolen. I'd get tagged in it. And just human nature, I can't help myself. I shouldn't do it. Hell, Joe Rogan talks about it. Post and ghost. Pull something up on YouTube, you put something on social media, and you just let it be. Don't look at it again. Because these comment boxes are cesspools, and my dumb ass, I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I would click on that comment box of these stolen videos that have gone viral, look down through the comments, and man, it's death threats. It's these crappie fishermen that want me to die. They're wishing all kinds of evil stuff on me. They're saying I ought to be arrested. They're calling the game warden. You know, everybody's chiming in, well, that's illegal in my state. He'd go to jail here, blah, 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 blah. It's like the Charlie Brown thing, just blah, 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 blah. You can't, I mean, it's just one after another. And man, I've seen it so much. It just ultimately makes me hate crappie fishermen, all of them. And occasionally I'll meet one that's a good person, and you think, man, I like that individual. I met a crappie guide here a few months ago. We were getting back to the ramp at the same time. He come up and introduced himself, shook my hand. He liked my videos and whatnot. I thought, boy, that's rare for a crappie fisherman to like me. But I sit there and I talk to him, and I ask him a bunch of questions about live scope that day, and it was great. And I was like, you know, this individual person here, I like him. But crappie fishermen as a whole, can't stand them. And so, anyway, these people, they plague the comment box. And it's not even so much like if they were trophy fishermen, if they were catch and release fishermen, and I was taking out their trophy crappie and just senselessly killing them, I would totally understand their being upset with me. I would get it. Just like catfishermen getting pissed off at people who kill trophy-sized catfish to haul around in the back of their truck all day, show people, and then kill it for one meal. I get that. But crappie fishermen, they're meat hunters. They are keeping every damn crappie they catch to try to shove into a freezer that they have no more space for. So if they're killing every crappie they catch, why are they pissed off at me? Because I don't even take that many. They're taking a limit every time they go to the water. I might take a limit over the course of a year, if that. So it's the hypocrisy of it that pisses me off the most, is I can't stand these hypocrites. So I hope some crappie fishermen see this. I'm probably going to use a crappie in the thumbnail of this video just to purposely poke them in the ribs a little bit. Because if they are going to plague my comment box, if they're going to turn it into a cesspool, by God, I'm going to give them every damn reason to do it. And used to, look, most of the time when I'd keep a crappie, I'd like about a 10, 11 inch crappie. Okay, that's a good, they got to be 10 inches to use them here in Tennessee. But a 10 inch bait, 11, 12 inch bait, that's an ideal size, because that's a good meal for a large catfish, but it's not so big that a 30-pound cat just can't easily eat it. You get a crappie 15, 16 inches, 17 inches, it takes a monster to eat that thing because they're so tall. And so the rare times that I would get larger crappie, I think my biggest crappie ever is probably around 15 inches. But if I got a 14 incher, 13 and a half, 14 and a half inch fish, I'd let them go. Not anymore. Not anymore, I don't. I just, these people, they've pissed me off too damn bad. And crappie, they're not like a lot of other species of fish. Just use catfish, for example. Catfish are a slow growing fish. a catfish fry that's freshly born, it will take several years to get up to what I call a dink now, right? They grow very slowly the first part of their life. So let's say we catch a dink today. Hell, I'd like to have a dink right now just to get the skunk out, but let's say we do. That fish is probably going to be a few years old, okay? Now, as they get older, they start packing on that weight a little bit more quickly. But the first few years of life, very slow growing. Crappie, on the other hand, they grow very quickly. And the average crappie only lives to be 3 to 4 years old. They're a very short-lived fish, so they grow fast and they die fast. So if you take a trophy-sized crappie, whatever length that is, you know, pick your length for what you consider a trophy based on where you fish. I think the Tennessee Angler Recognition Program here, I think it's 14 inches here. It's considered a trophy. Get you a little certificate if you take a picture on a measuring board, send it in. But whatever, you know, that trophy-sized crappie that you're going to catch is at the end of its life cycle anyway. Now, it would be nice, certainly, if the crappie that got that big made it at least another year there to spawn and pass on their genes. You certainly want the biggest fish spawning to try to pass on their genes to make more large fish. You don't want to have a situation where, and this happens sometimes in smaller bodies of water with crappie because they multiply so quickly, is you'll have a bunch of stunted fish. You'll have a bunch of short 6, 7 inch, 8 inch crappie, and there'll be millions of them, but there won't be any big ones. Because there's just so many of them, they get stunted, and then the stunted fish are breeding, and it's perpetuating the cycle. So you want a healthy mix of it. But yeah, I'm at a point with these crappie fishermen. Like, from now on, like, if I catch a 14, 15 inch crappie, it's coming with me. I don't give a damn if it's a trophy class fish. It's going to die within the next year anyway, when they're that big and at that age. But I'm going to do it just in spite of these people, because they've been so nasty toward me. I mean, when people are wishing death on me over a damn crappie that they would have themselves killed and took home to the dinner table themselves, hell with those people. So I will show no mercy on these crappie going forward. Now, here's the other part of this equation. A lot of the hate I get, the accusations made against me, is that I am doing something illegal. A lot of states, it is illegal to use crappie. Some states will not allow you to use game fish for bait. Well, where I live in Tennessee, we are allowed to. It specifically says in our regulations book, sport fish can be used as bait so long as they're caught on rod and reel and meet the minimum size requirements. You can't go out and cast net crappie and use them for bait. You can't, aside from cast net, I don't know how else you'd catch a crappie other than on rod and reel. Yeah, it ain't a fish that you're going to snag. It ain't a fish you're going to catch on a trot line. I don't know anybody that'd be jugging for crappie. I mean, I guess you could throw out some jugs with tiny hooks and minnows or something, and maybe, I don't know. But the point is, our regulations state, as long as they're legally caught, rod and reel, and the minimum size requirements are met, we can use them for bait. So these people that are just bashing me, that's illegal, that's illegal. No, it's not. It's perfectly legal. May not be in your state, but it is here. So when you get on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and you're like, that's illegal, all you do is making yourself look stupid. You look like a stupid, ignorant idiot because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And unfortunately, that's where we're at in society today. People love to make themselves look stupid. They just all about that, and why they're getting triggered and having a reaction and commenting on some random post anyway, I don't understand that. I don't get it. Why would you want to engage? Listen, if these people hate my guts, and when these other accounts are posting my videos and stuff, they don't know that it's not me. Because most of these accounts that steal from me, they steal everything. They steal the name, they steal my logo, they make these spoof accounts that look like it's me posting this stuff. So when these people are commenting, they think, and it certainly looks like they're commenting on my account. If you hate me, if you hate my guts, if you want me to just burn to the ground, why would you be helping my engagement by commenting? Because the more people that engage with something online, it just helps spread it out there even more, because Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it all says, oh, these people, they're engaging, they're interested, let's show it to more people. And then more people engage and they're like, oh, this is working, let's show it to more. You're just helping the cause, and in this situation, they're helping the cause of the people who stole from me, but still, they think they're taking a shot and cussing me out, wishing death on me, but really, if it was me that had posted that video again, they'd be helping me out. So they're stupid on so many damn levels. They're stupid, one, because they don't know the laws here. They're stupid, two, because they'd be helping me out. The person that they want to see burned to the ground, they're helping. Now here's the other thing, and here's where it gets a little gray. The people that come at me for this, their arguments are at least valid, okay? I'll give them credit for this. There is a gray area with the law as it pertains to cutting crappie. So there's two sections of our regulation book that kind of address using sport fish as bait. The first one there, I told you, says that we can use sport fish as bait as long as they call them rod and reel, meet minimum size requirements. Okay, that one's pretty cut and dry, simple. That gives us the okay to do it as long as those two conditions are met. Cut and dry, plain and simple, no argument with that. The next part of the sport fish for bait legality, if you will, states that if checked by a game warden, and I'm going to butcher I'll give you the gist of it here, I'll give you the paraphrasing, I guess. I don't know the exact wording off the top of my head. I probably should have looked it up before I come out here, because I knew I was going to have to address this nonsense. That God forbid we talk about something we want to talk about today, but I got to address idiots anytime I use crappie. But paraphrasing what it says, it states that if checked by a game warden, the game warden needs to be able to determine the species of fish and the length of the fish. Now, that creates a gray area when it comes to cutting crappie or any sport fish to use as bait. Because once that fish is cut, let's say a game warden comes up out here right now. And he checks my cooler. The crappie that I cut, we got the head over here on this back left rod. If he pulls out the piece of crappie in my cooler, he can verify the species because we haven't filleted it. So you can see that it is any game warden, fishery biologist, whoever, you can look at the scales of a fish and say, okay, that's a crappie, that's a bluegill, that's a skipjack, that's a bass. That's easy, right? But with the head cut off, they cannot determine the length. Therefore, I should get fined, right? That should be a ticket. Not so fast. Because here's where the gray area comes in. Again, it says, and I'm paraphrasing, there's some passage in there, that they have to be able to determine the species of the fish and the length of the fish. The gray area comes in from the fact that it does not specify in our regulation book how that game warden can determine the length of our fish. What is sufficient for him to be able to verify the length? Does he have to take that fish and put it on his measuring board and determine the length? Or can I take this video I'm filming right now? When I baited that, before I cut that crappie, I put it on the measuring board. You saw that was like 10.5 inches. This video has a date stamp, it has a time stamp, it has a GPS stamp. So let's say game warden comes up here 20 minutes from now. He checks me and he says, Justin, you've got an undersized crappie in here. I can't determine the length. And I say, hold on, sir. I turn my camera over to him. I say, go back in time, however the hell long this video's been running now. I say, go back in time here. You can scroll all the way back. It's been running continuously. You can see this crappie was legal before I cut it. You've got your date time, your GPS stamp. You can see I'm sitting right here where you caught me at. There's your length. Now, is that acceptable? Hell, I don't know. I don't know if it is, because our regulation book don't say what's acceptable and what's not. I don't know. But here, let me go down this rabbit hole with you. I'm gonna go down. Boy, we on a rant today, folks. Y'all, good damn thing I am too, because we can't catch a fish out here if our life depended on it right now. If you're seeing this video, though, stay tuned. By gosh, fish are coming. I promise you, fish are coming. I wouldn't be posting those skunk video. I don't know when we're going to catch them today, but if you're seeing this, we caught them, okay? But let me just walk you down the worst case scenario for me as it pertains to these crappie. Because that's what everybody's wishing on me in the comment box, right? They want me cuffed and stuffed. They want me arrested, thrown in the pokey. They want my fishing license revoked. They want me kicked off of YouTube. They want it all, man. They want me to burn in hell. That's what these people want. Let me walk you through worst case scenario. Let's say game warden comes up. He checks my, when game warden comes up, he's gonna ask for my fishing license. I've got it, I'll show him. He's going to probably just check my kayak, make sure that, you know, my kayak, I got a motor on it, it's got to be registered. He's probably going to check that. He's going to make sure I got a whistle, life jacket, all the things you're required to have in a motorized vessel. Then he's going to probably go to my bait tank and say, son, what you got in there? And I'm going to open it up and I'm going to show him. We got live crappie in there. If he wants to take them out and measure it, so be it. They're all legal. Nothing wrong with having live crappie in a bait well, a live well, bait bucket, whatever. Nothing wrong with that. Then he's going to go back there to my cooler. He's going to open it up and he's going to see some skipjack in there. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly legal. He's going to see some bluegill in there. That's fine. Perfectly legal. No size limit on a bluegill. He's going to see some whole crappie in there. Throw them on the measuring board. Guess what? It's fine. You can keep crappie. All the guys eating them, they're keeping them. They meet the minimum size requirements. Nothing wrong with that. The one potential thing he can get me on is that one crappie. And if you notice all my videos, I never have more than one cut at a time. He can pull out that one carcass that's left, throw it on his measuring board, and of course, if he puts that carcass on the measuring board, it's going to be short of 10 inches because I've cut the head off. Now, if he does that, I'm going to say, well, sir, I've got the, because see, I address people as sir. People of authority, I'm going to treat them with respect until they give me a reason not to. You see all these social media videos, people getting pulled over by the cops, and the cop gets an attitude with them and stuff. These people are being pricks to the cop before the cop gets an attitude with them oftentimes. So, you know, you need to treat these people with respect until they give you a reason not to. And some cops going to come up and be pissy right off the bat and give you a reason not to. Cops are people just like everybody else. There's good ones and bad ones. And, you know, sometimes it's justified, people getting pissed off at the cops. But anyway, game warden, he's going to have that crappie carcass there that I've got, what's left of it. He's going to put it on his measuring board and it's going to be short. And I'm gonna say, sir, I got the head of that crappie right over here on this line. You want me to reel it up? We'll mash the two pieces together. Guess what? It's gonna be legal length. Now, let's say this happens. Because again, we're going down the rabbit hole of the worst case scenario for me. Let's say we catch a fish on this crappie head over here, and it knocks the bait off, it eats it. So then we take the rest of that crappie there and we cut another slice of it, put it down there. So now game warden comes up, he goes to check that bait, and now I ain't got the other piece of it to make it whole, to verify the length on his measuring board. Now I'm in trouble, right? Now I'm in big trouble, because now the only thing I have is video proof with date, time, and GPS stamp. Video proof, folks, in a court of law is usually enough to get somebody acquitted, okay? But let's say this game warden, maybe he's having a bad day. He's had an argument with his girlfriend or wife. He's in a bad mood today. Maybe he don't like me. Maybe he's a crappie fisherman. Whatever. Maybe he just wants to make an example out of me. He's going to say, I don't give a damn about your video proof. I'm writing your ass a ticket. Okay. Then he may do that. You know, if we can't put the pieces of the crappie back together on his measuring board, and if he is unwilling or unable to accept my video proof as sufficient evidence, then him writing me a ticket he can do that, okay? That's fine. So, worst case scenario now, I'm gonna get a ticket for one undersized crappie is what the ticket would be for. Okay. I've never gotten a ticket like this. I've never had this. I don't ever see game wardens out here. You got to bet we got a better chance of seeing Bigfoot swimming across the water today than we do of a game warden. But if he happens to come up and check us, worst case scenario, I am going to get a ticket for one crappie. Because go back through my videos, you never see me having more than one cut at a time for this very reason. Now, how much is that ticket? I don't know. It used to be, I had heard once upon a time, $130 for every fish. I'd had a friend that was cast net and shad, and he was dumping his net there on a dock, and a game warden come up behind him, and he said, son, you better throw back them bluegill that you just, because he'd got some bluegill in his net with the shad. He said, you better throw back them bluegill, because if I watch you put them in your bucket there, I'm gonna have to write you a ticket for $130 for every one of them. So I assume that the crappie would be the same as any other fish in that situation that had been caught illegally or undersized or whatever. I could be wrong, it could be more, but it's probably gonna be no more than a few $100s per fish. And in this case, we're gonna have one fish we're gonna get a ticket for. Now, I've never gotten a ticket like this. I've never had any issues with the game warden, but I would assume, this is, you know, I don't know. You know what they say about assuming, you make an ass out of you and me. But I would assume if you get a ticket, that it would probably be the same situation as you getting a speeding ticket, where you have two options. If you get pulled over for speeding, you have two options. You can either plead guilty, essentially, when you sign the ticket there and pay the fine, you are pleading guilty for the speeding charge, you are paying the fine, you go about your day. The other option you have when you get a speeding ticket is to show up to your designated court date that is on that ticket there and plead not guilty and argue your case. I would assume that if you get a ticket for an undersized fish, let's say game warden having a bad day, don't give a damn about my video proof, the head of the crappie's gone, I got no way to put the pieces together there on his board, I get a ticket. I would assume that there's probably a court date going to be listed on that ticket where I'm going to have an opportunity to walk into court, plead my case in front of a judge, take my video proof into the judge showing me measuring that fish out on the board before I cut it, date, time, GPS stamp, have the whole video all the way up to the game warden rolling up to me. I would assume you take video proof into court along with the passage there in our regulation book that just says a game warden has to be able to determine the length of the fish, but doesn't say how they have to determine the length of the fish. You argue that gray area along with your video proof. I'm going to assume that that judge is probably going to throw out the case. It's probably going to dismiss it. If you had a long history of fines and records and whatnot, maybe he throws the book at you. But in my situation, an upstanding citizen, no previous tickets, video proof, gray area with our regulation book, I'm going to just assume that is going to be, the case is going to get dismissed and I'm not going to pay anything. But again, we are going down the worst case scenario for me. For all you people who want me to burn in hell and be buried under the jail cell, we're going down the worst case scenario here for you. So, let's say game warden gives me a ticket. He ain't interested in my video proof. I'm getting a ticket today, $130, whatever the fine is. I go to court, maybe the judge is having a bad day. He's upset with his wife too. He's pissed off. He's giving guilty pleas to everybody. So I lose my case. I've went to court. I've lost my case. So now I'm on the hook for the original fine and I'm on the hook for court costs. How much are court costs? I don't know. I've been to court one time in my life. I got a speeding misdemeanor charge in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, back in 2012. I had just gotten my car, and if you've ever went from an SUV to a car, you know, cars ride a little better. You can be going much quicker in a car than what you realize. I had just gotten that damn car. I was coming down a hill. It was late at night. I was driving back. I was travel nursing. I was driving back from North Carolina to Tennessee, coming down a hill. A state trooper, North Carolina, got me in at 90 miles an hour. 90 miles an hour in North Carolina is not a ticket. That is a misdemeanor charge. Mandatory court appearance. You have to show up in court. It ain't a situation where you can hire a lawyer and they can go on your behalf. You personally have to go to court for this. So I had to hire a lawyer. Ended up going to court 3 times actually, because we'd walk in the first time and the lawyer's like, we don't want this, judge. Let's ask for a continuance. Walk in the second time. Yeah, we don't want this one either. Let's get another continuance. Walk in the third time, lawyer's like, yeah, this is the one we want. So we go up there. He asked the judge, he said, you know, this young man here, he's a registered nurse. He's over here in our state of North Carolina working. He's got a clean record. We're asking for what's called a prayer for judgment. And a prayer for judgment in North Carolina, again, this is back in 2012. I don't know if the laws are the same, but how it worked was, if the judge granted you a prayer for judgment, the misdemeanor speeding charge would disappear so long as you didn't get any other speeding tickets or charges for 3 years after that. And when a judge asked me if I would agree to that, I said, sir, if you give me this prayer for judgment, I promise I will not set foot in the state of North Carolina until this 3-year time period passes. Because I was travel nursing. I could work anywhere in the country. I didn't have to go to North Carolina. I could go anywhere. So he gave it to me. And so, again, you don't get any speeding charges for 3 years. Your misdemeanor charge disappears. It goes away like it never happened. And all is good. So I ended up having to pay court costs that day because I didn't have a fine. Prayer for judgment, you just pay the court costs. It was $190. And this is how stupid that damn North Carolina state trooper was. If he had written me a ticket for 89 miles an hour instead of 90, and look, I'm not faulting him for writing me a ticket. I was speeding. I was breaking the law. He had every right to write me a ticket. But had he wrote it for 89 instead of 90, I would have paid a fine for speeding. That would have been much more, a significant amount more money than the court costs that they ultimately got for me. So the state of North Carolina would have gotten way more money out of me had he just wrote me for 89 instead of 90. So the cop was stupid. He was a stupid idiot. He was a prick. He was one of them. I was nice to him when he pulled me over, man. I'm polite and respectful to all people of authority until they give me a reason not to be. And this guy was a prick right from the start. He had most state troopers, every time I've been pulled over by a state trooper, I've had a few speeding tickets in my day. I got a little bit of a lead foot, I admit it. I've had a few tickets. It's always by a state trooper. I don't think I've ever gotten a ticket from a police officer. It's always state trooper. Every single one of them has a bad attitude. They're all pricks. Every one of them I've interacted with is just a prick. They got that badge on and that goofy hat, and they think their pecker's 3 inches bigger or something. They just got a bad attitude. And this guy had a bad attitude. But he was obviously an idiot because he wrote me for 89. The state of North Carolina they get double the money out of me as what they got by writing me for 90 and having me show up to court and getting a prayer for judgment. Now I had to pay the lawyer. I had to pay him $1,000. So I ended up being out of pocket $1,200, let's say, plus my time that it took me to go to court for 3 times. I had to schedule around that. But the lawyer got the money. The state of North Carolina didn't get it. The lawyer got it. Unless there's some kind of deal with cops and lawyers or getting kickbacks or something. You can't prove that, who knows. Be a hell of a racket if they did. Couldn't fault them for making a few extra bucks, but whatever. So anyway, this cop, he's a stupid idiot. I went to court and I got out of it and got my prayer for judgment and stayed away from North Carolina for a while. So that's off my record. Paid the $190 court cost. So anyway, I'm off on a tangent here. I'm way off in the weeds. But what I was getting at, for the sake of the argument here with this crappie, worst case scenario, folks, I'm going to get the original fine and I'm going to pay court costs if I lose the case. They're not going to take your fishing license over one short fish, especially in this situation where, again, either me or if I hire a lawyer, I would assume with the size of my YouTube audience, I probably have a lawyer out there watching right now that would probably represent me. If I asked somebody in my audience to come out and represent me, I guarantee you the millions of views I get on this channel, statistically speaking, there has to be a lawyer or two in my audience, okay? So whether I plead my own case in front of the judge or a lawyer pleads it for me, worst case scenario, the absolute worst case scenario, I get the original fine for the short fish and I get court costs. $500 at the max, probably. $1,000 at the absolute most. Folks, I don't know how much a trophy fish is worth to you, but I've caught a lot of big fish on crappie through the years. And the joy and excitement I have in that moment of catching a big fish, it's worth $500. It's worth $1,000. How many people out here hire these damn fishing guides ain't worth a shit? Take them out, they probably ain't gonna catch anything at all or small fish. They're gonna pay them $500 to go out and fish with them 4 hours. And you telling me I'm gonna pay a fine one time and look at how many fish I've caught through the years? It's worth it. I will take that risk because one, I think I'm right. I think if they're going to tell you that a game warden has to determine the length of the fish in the regulation book, it needs to be specified how they're going to determine the length. Is it their measuring board? Can you use your measuring board? Who approves their measuring boards? Is video proof sufficient before a fish is cut? And there's nothing in our regulation book that says you cannot cut a sport fish to use for bait. Nothing specifically outlines it and says you cannot cut a sport fish. The rule says they have to be able to determine the species and length. It does not say you can't cut it. So it's so gray. I'm willing to take the risk. I could be dead wrong. I know some of you out there arguing. There may be, all of you out there in the comment box seem to thank you game wardens. Some of these people in the damn comment box is too stupid to actually go to school, take the exams, the licensing, and become game wardens, but they think they're game wardens in the comment box. But I'm willing to take the risk. Do I recommend you take that risk? No, I don't. But for me, I've thought this through. I think I'm in the right, but if it turns out I'm in the wrong, I'm willing to accept responsibility for it. I'm willing to pay the fine, pay the court costs. And you know what? If that's how it turns out to be, then I just won't cut crappie anymore after that happens. But boy, for the worst case scenario to happen to me that all you people be wishing on me, there's a lot of steps that's got to go against me, that's got to go not in my favor. One, you got to get checked by the game warden. I never see them. There'll be a better chance of a unicorn, one of them horsies with a horn sticking out of their nose flying across in front of us today than what we're going to have seeing a game warden. We just don't. There's very few of them in Tennessee. That's why everybody's able to come down here, these pale acres, and steal all our fish, because we don't have any game wardens out ever checking anything. Okay, so one, we got to be checked. Two, that game warden's got to be having a bad day to want to stick it to me. Because again, it ain't like I'm out here actually keeping a short fish. I'm just out here. I'm out here using a legal sized bait. And if he's got any common sense at all, especially after he sees the video footage, he's going to see that I'm using a legal sized bait. Now, he may, again, if he's having a bad day, he may want to stick it to me. But I think most reasonable people are going to be okay with it. I could be wrong, but I think most reasonable people. Crappie fishermen, certainly not. And if the game warden happens to be a crappie fisherman, he'll stick it to me. But that has got to go against me. One, we got to be checked. Two, we got to have a game warden having a bad day. Three, I got to go to court and have a judge having a bad day. Like, there's a lot of steps to this before anything bad is going to happen to me. A lot of things have to go against me. And so I'm willing to take the risk. I don't recommend you do it per se. I'm not going to tell anybody. I don't want you saying, well, Justin says this is okay, so I'm going to go out there and do it. And then you get caught with a bunch of cut crappie in your cooler or something and get hit with hundreds of dollars in fines. No, I'll tell you how I do it. The level of risk that I am willing to accept, my reason behind why I'm willing to accept that risk, and you can make your own determination from there. But that's my thoughts on it, people. And we've went on a long-winded rant of this. I guess the fish are sick of hearing it too, because they ain't biting right now. But all these people, man, the YouTube comment box, the Facebook, the Instagrams, everywhere that video's been stolen and reposted, all these people wishing bad stuff on me, like, sorry to disappoint you, but worst case scenario, I'm gonna be out maybe $500, and I'm willing to pay it. People spend $500 on a fishing guide trip around here all the time. Look right here, that crappie head. Speaking of crappie head, here we go. Fish number one, folks. Fish number one on the crappie head. We conjured him up. You better leave that head on too, that way when I get checked by the game warden, we can put them pieces back together. Boy, this fish has took a long time today. We need to tell him, we send him back down, go find some of his friends. I was really hoping it'd be on like Donkey Kong right here at sunrise. But, you know, again, yesterday I finished up out here. It was around 11 o'clock. I got that flathead and that blue. So, we'll see. It may be a later morning bite. Oh, he did. Look at there. He did leave the crappie head back on there. Good. Thanks, fish. Good. We need that. Now we can put the pieces back together. Boy, them people that want me to get a ticket, all them people that wanted me to get a ticket was hoping that fish would throw it off the hook. Every one of them was hoping it. You watch and see how many comments I'm gonna get about this dissertation here that I have given about the crappie, man. People are gonna argue with me, they're gonna light me up. Every daggone time. I don't get it. I don't understand why people are so passionate about it. I just don't see why they care so much over a fish that they themselves were going to kill anyway. No, whoa, fish. Don't you knock my crappie bucket over now. Look at, he put that hook back in him. You danged old fish. You got that line all wrapped around your face there. Goodness, I can't get him undone. All right, there's our first fish of the day, a larger dink. I mean, that fish right there is several years old. Very slow growing fish there in the early years of their life. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep this crappie head because we might need it. We might need to put the pieces back together now. But I'm gonna get the other part of the carcass here. We're gonna put a chunk on. I wanna try out a body piece, see what that'll do for us. And I'm actually gonna cut it. We're gonna leave that, we might use that piece of it too right there. Get my scissors here. Well, we got the skunk out finally, folks. It's taken a while. But again, if you're seeing this, good news. More fish are coming. I ain't gonna post this video with that one dink fish, so. Good news for us. It means we caught more fish. All right, down it goes. Yeah, I ain't gonna keep going on and on about the crappie, but hopefully that long-winded essay there, dissertation, will explain to you all my rationale, my reasoning behind what I do and how I do it and why I do it and all that mess. And if you've got a problem with it still, the best thing I can tell you to do is take a hike. Because I'm gonna do what I do, and I don't give a damn what any of you think about it. People that's got a problem with it, it's your problem, not mine. Because I'm gonna use them, I'm gonna catch fish with them, I'm gonna have a damn good time. That's what I'm gonna do. If something bothers you, you know what I recommend? Avoiding it. It's like, if I put my hand on a hot stove, it would burn, right? Well, I wouldn't keep putting my hand on a hot stove. But it's the same thing with these people on social media. They see something and it bothers them. It triggers them for some reason. And you would think, well, something bothers them, they'd just avoid it. They wouldn't do it again. That ain't how it works though on social media. Somebody's bothered by something, they keep coming back. They keep clicking on the videos so they can be bothered again. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Oh, hell, my leader was all messed up on that. I'm switching out these pieces of skipjack. It's been an hour or so, and so we'll go. That bait right there actually looks pretty good still, but we'll put a fresh one on. This bait, it's old. We're at the tail end of what I want to be using on the skipjack anyway, but I do want to use it up today because I'm going to dump whatever's left. And crappie, usually I like to use them within a day or two of getting them. Skipjack, I do tend to use a little longer on ice. Crappie, shad, those type of baits I typically like to use within a day or two of catching them. The skipjack they were gone last night, man. They were gone. There was nothing happening. I went pretty good distance trolling for them and never saw them. Never got the first bite. So I said, well, we'll just get some bluegill at least. And just got pure lucky. I admit to get lucky. Well, I didn't feel very lucky when I lost that first crappie. It was a big one too. We would have really broke some crappie fishermen's hearts if I caught a 16, 17-inch crappie and brought it out here. You better believe I'll do it too. I've just, the line's just been crossed with me. There's no going back. And I shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't hold it against all crappie fishermen. But when you've had, at this point, I mean, those videos, oftentimes, by the time I get tagged in the video, it's already made its way around social media. And then, of course, you file a copyright claim with Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It takes forever for them to review it. So by the time the video would get pulled, these things have gotten thousands of comments on social media. And of course, my dumb ass, I shouldn't be looking down there in the comment box, but I would. I'd go through and it's just all these just nasty people wishing death on me and all this stuff. And it just, I'm a spiteful person. I own that. I admit it. I am. Like if you talking stuff about me, wishing stuff on me, I'm gonna wish it right back on you. Like I ain't gonna pray for you. I'm gonna wish evil stuff on you. So these people, I'm spiteful, man. So now I catch crappie. I don't care how big it is. It's coming with us. It is coming with us. I don't feel the least bit bad about it. That's terrible. I shouldn't be that way, but I am. And I own it. I'll own up to it. Everybody's got a line that you just, once it's crossed, it's crossed. And the crappie fishermen have crossed me. So I'm going to use them as bait. I don't give a damn about eating them. Even if the water was clean, I still wouldn't eat them. Because I'm just not into, I don't really like fish. I might have a tuna sandwich like once a year or something. I've never really had a taste for fish. I like steak. I like chicken wings. I don't care much for fish. And even if we get like sushi or something, I'll get the shrimp usually. I'm just not into it. But I like catching them. I have a great time catching fish. I just don't care about eating them. So to each their own. You want to eat fish? What do I care? You want to come out here and eat contaminated fish? More power to you. You want to judge me for not taking contaminated fish to hungry people and trying to give them cancer? Well, that's on you. All these here, I'm gonna go on another rant here about these people. This whole video is gonna be nothing but damn rants today. Here I showed up in a good mood out here today, and y'all ain't gonna be able to know that I'm in a good mood because I ain't done nothing but gripe about people since I got on the water. But here's what gets me. These people that get on me about not feeding the hungry children and the hungry people with all these fish I catch, when it happens, most of the time they are quoting the Bible. I had a preacher, one guy, he claimed he was a preacher. You could have fed my whole congregation with them catfish you threw back today. I got people that are in need, they're starving. And you threw back enough fish to feed my whole congregation. It's like, these people thumping their Bibles at me are the most judgmental people on the face of the planet. You know, like the Bible teaches you to be forgiving. Wasn't that one of the big things, is be understanding, be forgiving, love thy neighbor, hate the sin, not the sinner. But these people that just blast me are oftentimes just super religious. Like the people who are not supposed to be judgmental are the most judgmental people. I can't stand them either. So, yeah, and not all of them are like that. You know, most people, I'm stereotyping again. I don't hate all religious people over a handful of those type people like I do with crappie fishermen. Because with the crappie fishermen, it ain't been a few. Like, it's been a few thousand. I mean, you go to them. I mean, that video for me got like 5,000 views, or 5 million views. These people that steal it, they've got millions more. Like, it blew up for them more than it did for me. And they're getting, now I got comments turned off on my second channel because it ain't worthwhile. The comment box, I don't need the comment box to have my videos perform well. There's other metrics that YouTube looks at, and I'm really good at those things. It's stuff I've kind of figured out through the years of doing this YouTube trial and error, and I've been able to kind of key in on those things that they look for, and so that gets my videos pushed without me needing a lot of engagement. I don't need thumbs ups, I don't need people subscribing, I don't need comments. My videos will still get pushed. And so my second channel, when I started it, I just turned the comment box off right from the get-go, because I don't like monitoring one comment box, let alone another channel. And I'm thankful I did, because, I mean, again, you get that many views on a video using crappie for bait, like it's going to be nasty. It's going to be a damn septic tank you're going to be sifting through. But these other people over there in them internet cafes all over the world stealing my stuff, man, like and of course they're happy with it because they want those. They needed that engagement to get their stuff pushed. And by their stuff, I mean my stuff that they've stolen, but still. So, a lot of them videos, it's gotten millions of views that they had stolen, has gotten thousands of comments. And so I've literally had thousands of crappie fishermen just wishing all kinds of evil on me, and so I say hell with all of them. The religious people, on the other hand, though, it's just a handful. It's one here and there. And there's enough people, good religious people that are nice and caring and compassionate, that it kind of offsets them. But with crappie fishermen, I'm trying to think, like, the crappie fishing guide I met a few months ago, he was cool. I liked him. Real good guy. At some point, I actually want to hire him to take me on a guide trip, teach me how to use that live scope. That's on my to-do list. And if he's cool with it, I'll film the process so y'all can learn as I learn. Boy, beyond Mike Baker videos on YouTube, he's one of the best crappie fishermen on YouTube, in my opinion. I learn, every time I watch his videos, I learn something. He's a good teacher, he's a good speaker. Fun fact, he's a lawyer. Maybe he could represent me, when y'all get your way and I end up in court. Maybe I can hire him and he'll go defend me in court. But he's a good guy. I've talked to him before, and actually just messaged him recently, or he messaged me one. One of us messaged the other recently because we had talked a couple years ago. We had talked about doing a trip together, a video together. I was going to go out there, but then I ended up not going out there because he lives like 10 hours away from me. It's a long drive and it's west, and I just don't ever go west. If I make a long drive, I'm usually going south to go to the ocean. So pretty good haul to get to him. But at some point in time in the future, I would love to fish with him because he is a great crappie fisherman, and he seems like a really great person. So there's him, and there's the local crappie fishing guide. That's it as far as crappie fishermen I know that I like. I mean, that's about it. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. Maybe I'm leaving somebody out. Now, Randy Goad, Trout Magnet Man, on YouTube, I like him a lot. I got a ton of respect for him. And he catches a lot of crappie. But I wouldn't necessarily say he is a crappie fisherman per se. Randy likes catching everything. He's like me, man. He likes, if it'll tug on the line, he likes catching it, and he likes catching it with an ultralight rod. So if he's on crappie, he's going to have a whole lot of fun catching crappie. If he's on bluegill, he's going to have a lot of fun catching bluegill. So even though he catches a lot of crappie, I wouldn't necessarily lump him into the crappie fishing group per se of people that I don't like. So, yeah, man. I had a guy, I'm trying to think, this was a few months ago, I guess. I can't remember exactly when it was. It was a few months ago, maybe. I was getting done. I was loading up there at the ramp, and this guy come up, and he said, you been crappie fishing today? And I said, no, I was out here catfishing. He said, oh, well, I got a crappie here. If you'd been crappie fishing, I was going to give it to you. I said, well, hell, I'll take it. You know, I'll use it for catfish bait. And you would have thought I'd just farted right in his face or something, the look on his face. Like, he was repulsed. He couldn't believe it. Like, oh, I don't use it for bait. I was going to give you, was going to keep them to eat or something. And, and again, it's like he's keeping the damn fish. He's going to kill it either way. The fish is already dead. What does it matter if I eat it or I use it for bait? The fish died either way. But you would have thought, like, you see the look on his face, like repulsed. Repulsed. I mean, just couldn't believe it. Now, he didn't give me that crappie either. He kept that damn thing. I don't know what he done with it. I guess he kept driving boat ramp to boat ramp till he found somebody to take it. But yeah, I don't understand it, man. I don't get it. Even from the food argument, let me go at it from this perspective on the food argument. These people upset with me because I ain't keeping the crappie to eat. Look, I'm doing this YouTube channel. This is the job right now, okay? This is a full-time job. Well, it ain't really full-time, but I mean, I don't have to work a regular job anymore. I gave up nursing a few years back because I'm able to sustain myself doing these videos, right? So, if I use a crappie as bait, and that crappie gets eaten, and I get a video from that trip that I used the crappie, that video then earns me a little coin. That coin then gets put in my bank account, which then gets spent at the grocery store when I buy food. So technically, if I use a crappie as bait, even though I didn't eat that specific fish, that crappie is still helping me eat. I'm eating not the crappie itself, but I'm eating because of the crappie. So 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other folks, if the crappie buys me a steak, what difference does it make if I eat the crappie or the steak? Either way I'm eating, and either way that crappie dies. So what difference does it make? Don't make any difference to me, but boy, it does these crappie fishermen. Tears them up. I can't figure out which group I've offended more. Crappie fishermen that watch my channel, I don't know why they watch it, but they do. I don't know if it's them that I've offended more or the women that are forced to watch my videos. I've pissed a bunch of them off, man. It don't matter what I say or do, I'm gonna piss somebody off, so I'm gonna do and say whatever I damn well please. And if it gets me a ticket over having one crappie that's been cut, well, I'm gonna pay that fine. And I'm gonna, as I'm paying that fine, as I'm standing there at the court clerk or county clerk or wherever the hell, I can't remember, when I paid that court costs for the prayer for judgment, I was standing in front of a little clerk's window there, writing out that check. And so if a day comes I gotta pay that fine for one crappie, as I'm writing out that check, I'm purposely going to think about all the big fish I've caught with crappie through the years. And I'm gonna hand over that check with a smile on my face, with all those happy memories going through my head. That's how it's gonna be, folks. So, sorry about your luck, all the people out there that hate my guts. It just ain't gonna work out for you. Unless one of you, and I've had a lot of threats. I've had a lot of threats of physical violence on me. People tell me what they're gonna do. Now, they always do it anonymously, behind a screen name. None of them ever put their name on it. But they tell me what they're gonna do to me when they see me out somewhere and whatnot. I've yet to have anybody come up and punch me right in the face. A lot of them have threatened it, never had one of them do it. Not yet, maybe someday, not yet. I find it hard to believe that they're going to when they won't even put their name on it when they leave in the comment. It's always screen name 3496 or something. So, now I did get my tires cut one time. That happened. There's some coward cutting tires. I got an idea who that was too, but I can't prove it. But I don't think that was random crappie fishermen. I think that was probably someone else on YouTube, but I can't prove it. Just is what it is. Again, it's just part of the price you pay if you do anything in the public eye. It ain't just me. You see it across the board. If you're watching a football game and the camera flashes up to Taylor Swift there in the press box, how many people's gonna be on social media blasting her on there? Now, I'm an NFL fan, I'm a football fan, I watch football all the time. I think they've overdone it with Taylor Swift too. Like, I'm tired of seeing her too, but can you fault NBC or ESPN or CBS, whoever's got the game? Can you fault them? She's the biggest star on planet Earth right now. And if you're NBC, ESPN, CBS, Amazon, whoever's got the game on that particular day that she's there, can you fault them for putting the biggest star on the planet on your TV channel, your program? I mean, I can't. Do I get annoyed by it when they've went up there to her 36 times in the broadcast? Sure. But am I going to get on social media and type out big long paragraphs about it? Hell no. I don't care that much about it. I'm watching the game. Does it take away from the game? No. No. But people get tore up about it, man. And Taylor Swift, I don't care if you like her music or not. I got a handful of her songs on my phone. But whether you like her or not, you got to respect what she's done. She's grown one of the largest businesses on the planet right now. She's worth billions. You have to respect what she's done. But you see that, whether it's musicians, football players, actors, comedians, random nobodies on YouTube like me, man. If you do something in the public eye, because we got a fish right here under us, man. That's a nice mark right there on the bottom, right there under us. He's right behind us. I hope he bites. I hope that's a cat. I don't know what it is. It's a pretty good mark right there. But the point is, if you do anything in the public eye, you're just going to be subjected to a percentage of the people that are just angry, miserable, just nasty people. You're going to be subjected to them. And the only way to avoid them is to just stay off social media or turn your comments off. If you got discipline, you can do the Joe Rogan philosophy of post and ghost. I don't really have that kind of discipline. I just don't. And I can't avoid it anyway, because I mean, in my second channel, I've got the comments turned off. But my main channel here, comments are up there. And there's a lot of yous that I've interacted with in the comment box for years. I mean, I feel like I kind of know yous a little bit. I don't know your name, because you got screen names, and a lot of yous that I like, you got dumb screen names too. Like, I don't understand why you chose that particular screen name, but nevertheless, I feel like I kind of know you a little bit. And some of yous have commented hundreds of times and kind of have a rapport with each other now. And so, even though I hate the comment box, even though I don't need it to have success on this channel, I do feel like I would be punishing the people that I do like if I just shut the comment box off. Now, I may end up doing that at some point. I may. When I hit my number that I need to hit to not need to do this anymore as far as earning a check, then maybe that's when it happens. Maybe that's when I do it. I don't know, you know, it's fun. I would like to get rid of Instagram. I'd like to get rid of Facebook. I'd like to get rid of TikTok. I'd like to just delete the accounts. And I had deleted my Facebook page for a long time, like 2 years, I think. But I kept having people reach out to me via the YouTube comment box or email, for those of you that somehow found my email. And they were getting ripped off because of the people that was making these fake accounts that looked just like me on Facebook. They were taking advantage of them financially. And so I had to put my page back up there. When you delete your page on Facebook, it gives you a couple options. You can either permanently delete it or you can just hide it. And I think I had hid mine. And so I just put it back up there so people would see the real page and hopefully not get duped by the fake pages. But I don't ever post anything on it. I've made since I put that page back up, I think I put it up maybe a year or so ago. I've made 2 or 3 posts on there maybe. I don't post on it. Social media, here's how social media would ideally work if you're running a business. You would use social media to get eyes on your business, right? So in theory, I would use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok to get people to come to my YouTube channel to watch the videos, since this is the business. But for me, it works the exact opposite. People find me on YouTube and then go to the social media. So it works in reverse. So I don't get any business benefit from being on social media. So if I didn't have people stealing from me all the time, I would just delete it all. Because I don't like Facebook, I don't like Instagram, I hate TikTok. I just delete it all, but I can't. So, but I've thought about, like, what does the end look like for me on YouTube? I mean, if I die or something, if I show up to the boat ramp today and one of these crappie fishermen follows through on their threats and they kill me and I die, well, obviously YouTube will end for me. It'll still be up, but I'll be dead and gone, won't be able to make no more videos. That's scenario number one. It only takes one crazy person, man. It only takes one. I mean, I'm talking smack about these people that ain't got the cojones to back up what they typing, but it only takes one that's just really out there crazy to come up and take a shot at you or something. I mean, hell, we seen it just a few months ago with you know, I don't want to say the name because I don't want to get dinged on YouTube here, but you know who I'm talking about, the assassination attempt. So listen, it takes just one nut job that's out there taking things too far. So you never know. But let's assume I live a long life. How will YouTube end for me? I hope I can go out on my own terms. YouTube could pull the plug at any time. Maybe I say the wrong thing, or the wrong person complains about me or whatever, and they pull the plug on me. That could happen. They could take my channel down any given time. I could click on the wrong email link and somebody take over my channel and delete everything. That's happened to other YouTubers here as of late. That's a big thing that's been happening. I've been very careful with emails since then. I'm not clicking on any business emails anymore. I just immediately delete them, send them to spam, whatever. I'm not looking for business deals at the present time. It's too big a risk. So that could happen to end my channel. The ideal scenario, though, this is how in my mind, I'd like to go out. I'd like to hit my number that I need to live comfortably off my investments the rest of my life. And I'd like to walk away like John Elway winning the Super Bowl, on top. Just, hold on, we got a head bait here getting hit. Hell, I wonder if he ain't got that fly. You think he ate that fly? Because he's on there. This fish, I think he's got the fly. He's too small to have gotten the head bait. I'm gonna take my time with him here. I'm hoping he's gonna just shake off on his own. But if not, I wanna at least make sure he can go back down. Fishing 63 feet here, 62 feet. Every way, it keeps going 62.9 to 63 point something, depending on how the kayak sways. Okay, there's what we want to see, them bubbles right there. Yeah, he ate the fly. Little tiny blue cat ate the stinger fly. Where's all your bigger kinfolk at here, fish? We've been waiting patiently all morning long, and you're just fish number 2 of the trip. I had high expectations yesterday after hooking that flathead in the blue, but it was later in the morning again. It was around 11-ish. All right, there he is. We'll see you, buddy. Get on out of here. Head bait still looks good, still hooked good, so we'll send it right back down. But I think like John Elway winning the Super Bowl, retiring, I think that's how I'd like to ideally go out. And I don't want to make an announcement about it. No goodbyes. no sayonaras. I think what I'd like to do, I would like to post a picture. Post it on all platforms. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. A picture of me in the kayak and the sunset behind me. Like an old cat, you know, them old Westerns? My dad, when I was a kid growing up, my dad liked Westerns. And so I oftentimes had to watch them. If you've ever seen a Western, one of them old ones, they all end the same way. The cowboy saves the day. He's fought off the bad guys. He kisses the girl. And she's in love with him, but he can't stick around because he's a cowboy. And the final clip on the movie, on the Western, is the cowboy riding off into the sunset. You don't know where he's going. You don't know what happens to him. You don't know where he ends up. You just see him riding off into the sunset. That's how I'd like to go out on YouTube. On my own terms, when I'm damn good and ready, still at the top of my game, and just have that picture of me riding off into the sunset. If y'all ever see that picture pop up, you're gonna know. Those of you still watching this, you think back to this video, whenever that happens, you'll know. You'll know what happened. That I'm just gone. No goodbyes, no see you laters, just riding off to the sunset, never to be seen or heard from again. That's how I'd like to go out. I think in reality, the most likely scenario of what happens though, is I hit that number I need to hit, and then I cut way back on video production. Still post videos enough to maintain a business, quote unquote, because it would be nice. Just because I wouldn't necessarily want to do YouTube anymore, wouldn't mean I'm gonna stop fishing. Still gonna fish, just wouldn't be doing it on video anymore. Wouldn't be subjecting myself to everything that you subject yourself to when you do something in public. I wouldn't be burning every fishing spot I have to the ground. I'd still be fishing though all the time. And so I would still have expenses all the time. Buying fishing tackle, any gear for the kayak, driving back and forth to the house, to the launch, to et cetera, et cetera. And of course you got other expenses too when you're doing a YouTube business like this. You got your phone bill, you got your internet bill, all that stuff. It would be nice to continue to get those tax breaks, even though I wouldn't necessarily be doing it full time anymore. If I could post, and normally I post 2 to 3 videos a week now, but let's say I went down to 1 video a week, still 50 videos a year, let's say. I could be able to justify to the IRS, because I'd have income coming in from that, to be able to write off my normal expenses, even though my income would be drastically less. Wouldn't be like any other business that, you know, the revenue changes on every business year to year. Things happen. Some years better than others. That's just how it is. So I could continue, even though I wouldn't be doing it full time per se, I would be still able to take advantage of the tax deductions, tax breaks. That's probably the most likely, as much as I would love to make a clean break when the time comes, post that picture and ride off into the sunset, literally and figuratively. I think the most likely scenario is that I just cut way, way back and go from 120 videos a year down to about 50, 30 to 50 maybe, and do that for a few years. And that's probably how it would go down. I don't know. We'll see when the time comes. I'm not going to do it forever though. That's one thing for sure. I know some of you that really like me, and amazingly, some of you do. As much people out there that hates me, there's some of you that really love me too. That would probably disappoint some of you to hear that, is that I won't be doing this forever. I'm not going to do YouTube the rest of my life, or whatever the next YouTube is. Who knows? Technology, times change so quickly. Will YouTube still be dominant 5 years, 10 years from now? Who knows? There could be something else come along. But whatever that is, I don't want to do it the rest of my life. I've done this now for 8 years. And so, who was it? Pat Riley, famous basketball coach. I think he said you should reinvent yourself about every 10 years. And so I kind of look at that with my own life and think, well, in the first part of my life there is obviously getting through school and through college, kind of finding my way. Then I had my nursing career, and that was from 2004 to 2020. And then I left that and been doing YouTube here full time the last 4 years now, going on 5. And so it's like, do it a few more years, maybe at the most, and then go on to whatever's next. I don't know what's next. I don't know. I mean, I just, pretty much nowadays, I get to do what I want. There's sometimes I kind of feel the pressure of YouTube to, if maybe I have like right now, for instance. We had the bad weather come through there last week, and I lost several days in a row of fishing. And so my cushion that I had, being a few videos ahead, kind of dwindled down. And I've got a trip coming up next week. At least if weather permits, I'm hoping to go to Louisiana. And I know I'm not going to be able to upload videos while I'm there because internet connection and all. So I need to get ahead a few videos so that I can go out there, have that trip, and be able to come home and get videos from that trip uploaded. So there's a little bit of pressure to perform. Like, I need some fish on video, by God. And yesterday was such a dud. I made a huge mistake yesterday, dragging in that creek. I'd had a great day the day before, catching fish all day long there on Fort Loudon, set up kind of like we're doing here today. I'd had a good trip. And so instead of doing that, trying to replicate that bite again, of course I mix things up and try to get a better bite and don't do worth a crap until I got out here yesterday afternoon. But at that point in time, hell, I was at the end of my trip. It was too late. I thought, well, I'll come back here today. Well, you can see how that's panned out. So far, anyway. I'm hoping it's just a late morning bite. I'm hoping that them fish ain't just gone. But there's a little bit of pressure to do well and do well quickly. Look right here. Our crappie got eat. Our crappie got eat. Our live crappie. There it goes. Something's got him, man. That rod's over. That rod's over. Oh, buddy. Something got him. Live crappie. Oh, my God. He just let go. Oh, no. He let go. Something had him. Oh, no. I'm going to leave him there. I'm going to leave him there for a second. See if that fish will come back for him. We'll give it a minute or two here. We'll reel that thing up, make sure he ain't foul hooked, make sure he's still on the hook. Something had him though. I don't know that he had all of him, but he had him. I didn't feel it hit. It may have been a flathead. But that's a big crappie, so if he didn't get all of him, if he didn't fully eat him, I mean, I got the hook. Dang, man, that's what we've been waiting on right there, y'all. That was it. That was the tingle in the dingle right there, man. Oh. Man, oh man, I want to get that live crappie eaten so bad. I want it for personal enjoyment, and I just want to stick it to them crappie fishermen, man. I know it's going to tear them up. Let's reel this thing up. Let's take a look, see what we got going on here. He might be foul hooked, possibly. He might be still alive and kicking. I don't know. Something had him though, I know that. Oh, he's still alive and kicking. Let's see. I don't even see any marks on him really. Maybe, well, his scale's a little tore up right there. He's going back down is what he's doing. We'll send him back down there. I don't want to switch him out just yet because we got 3 more in the bucket there, and if I can keep them alive, we'll use them tomorrow if need be. I'm planning on fishing tomorrow too. Weather's looking good. We had all that rain last week. Feel terrible for them people, man. Up in the mountains, entire towns getting washed away, like just awful, awful what happened to them. But down here, we really didn't. We had steady rain, but we didn't get the flooding. And even now with all the rain or the water that was in the mountains, they're working down through the Tennessee River. I mean, our water level, it really hasn't moved a lot, up about 2 feet at the most. It might be up a foot or so today. Now the current flow has picked up drastically. We're not really experiencing over here where we're at the way the river runs through here. We got this kind of island creating a little bit of a current break here for us, which I thought might help our calls, honestly, as fish kind of work out of the channel here. We'll be right here in. Maybe we should have been in the current. The other day on Loudon there, we were in the current. So tomorrow, we'll be fishing somewhere in the current for sure. Unless we just really get on a good bite here today. And here's something else that will definitely be taken into consideration. You know, yesterday, that flathead and the blue I got about 11 o'clock-ish. Let's say this bite here, let's say it turns out to be a later morning bite, and maybe we catch a big fish or a few big fish here on this spot before it's said and done. Well, then maybe tomorrow I just come out and start my trip later in the morning. That's a possibility too. Try to key in around that time, because if we get on, if I got them fish yesterday around 11 and then we get on them today a little later in the morning, that would be a little bit of a pattern there. And so we'd just work around it. We'll see. Yeah, man, I'm still, of course, you're seeing this video well after the fact. Today's October. What did we say it was, the 2nd? Yeah, October 2nd. So, but you're seeing this video a week or so after the fact, so probably more news stories and videos of the flooding and everything has come out by the time you're seeing this, but just, I mean, they're still up there trying to find people, trying to find bodies, and it's awful. Just everything gone with them people in the blink of an eye. Okay, here's our head bait getting hit. That rod's gonna go down in the blink of an eye too. But I mean, I talked about that there on the last video. Just, it's humbling because Mother Nature can just take it all, everything that humans spend years building, towns, cities, buildings, bridges, roads, Mother Nature can take it all away in just blink of an eye. Hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, earthquakes. I mean, we are so vulnerable. We think we're not. We think that we control our environment, but really we don't. We're very vulnerable. Hell, a meteor could fly out of the sky at any moment and kill all of humanity on Earth. I mean, we're very vulnerable. And we don't realize it until something awful like a natural disaster like this happens, and you realize just how vulnerable you are. It's very humbling. I feel bad for them people, though. I just, you know, what can you do? I mean, it's, you know, shout out to all the first responders and firefighters and healthcare people and all that up there that's taking care of them, man. Because they've logged a lot of hours trying to rescue people. I mean, you hear conflicting reports too as far as how much rain. They said in my area we got like 3 inches, and I'd seen one news report they'd got like 10 inches over there where the flooding was, but I mean, who knows, really, because it could have been way more than that. And the easy thing to do is to blame whoever built the dams, TVA or whoever, for the dams failing, and I guarantee you, if it was my family or friends or my home or my property that got destroyed, you better believe I'd be blaming the whoever built the dams and whoever operated them. But some stuff like that, it's like, how do you prepare? That hurricane, I mean, it hit the right way and it set over that area for so long. How do you prepare for something that's just a once in a lifetime type event like that? Like, how do you do it? But I don't know. If I was them, I'd be pissed too, man. I'd be. It don't change anything. It don't bring the people who died back and the properties that are washed away. It don't bring that back. It's just terrible situation. I had a person comment on it was a video that had been filmed before the flooding happened, because again, I was ahead on videos. And I had some people comment as that video had come out after the flooding, and people concerned for me and whatnot. That's very nice. People concerned, wanting to know if I was affected at all by the flooding, if we'd had any damage and whatnot. And it's very thoughtful, very considerate. I had one person on there telling me that I need to be starting a charity and raising money from you all, my audience here, to give to those people. And I don't know if they were just being sincere or if it's just kind of, you know, when you read something, it can be interpreted a lot of ways. Text messages, comments, social media posts, they get you in trouble oftentimes because you never really know the tone. Text messages, social media posts should really be kept simple. I mean, I can't tell you how many times me and whatever girl I was dating at the time had an argument over a text message. Because you send a message and you mean it one way when you send it, but the person who gets it reads it and it don't come across like you meant it to come across. That happens. That happens a lot with written text. So things like text messages and whatnot should really be kept simple. You know, what time do you want to meet for dinner, or basic question answer type stuff. Basic information. Shouldn't go into anything complex on a text message or a YouTube comment or social media post. You're begging for problems if you do. But this day and age, hell, I mean, me personally, I'd rather text. I don't want to do a phone call. I talk to my mama every day. She likes to hear her baby boy's voice. Beyond that, like, I don't really talk on the phone that much. Like, I'm not a phone caller. So a lot of stuff gets communicated in text, and it's a risk you take when you communicate in text that things are going to get misinterpreted. So when this person left a comment, I should be starting a charity drive and getting some money to these victims up there. Part of me thinks, well, it's probably sincere. That's he's seeing somebody like me with a fairly large following and sees an opportunity for me to raise some money. The other part of me is thinking, well, this is some asshole telling me how I ought to be doing stuff. And I don't know how he meant it. I don't know that that person had ever commented on my videos before, so it's tough to interpret. But I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry to disappoint anybody that thinks I should, but I'm not going to be taking up money for a charity on this channel. First off, I don't know a damn thing about running a charity. Okay, there's all kinds of legality stuff that you got to do to set up a charity and all that, and I don't know how to do it, and it's just not something I'm going to pursue. Now, I could come on here and try to say, hey, those of you in my audience willing to give money, you should donate to such and such charity. And that's a great gesture if you feel like doing that. But I wouldn't know what charity to, take down right here on the head. Folks, we're getting a little more action here as the morning's going on. Sunrise let us down, but we got the dink on the fly. We had the live crappie get eaten, and now we got this, and it's all happened within a fairly short time here, I feel like. I want that crappie. Here's our piece of crappie back here. It's going down now. We got a double. We got a double, folks. We got some fish working through. We'll get this one up here to the surface, get a look at him, and then we'll pick up on the piece of crappie back there. I hope he left it on too, because we gotta be able to measure these fish if the warden shows up. Okay, that's a blue cat right there. Let's sit him back. Doubled up here, y'all. We're doubled up. There's a lot of fish down there on bottom. I'll show you on the graph here in a second before we start landing fish, but there's a lot of fish down there. It's like bait fish or something, right on bottom. I don't know what they are, but that might explain why we're getting bit all of a sudden, because there's just a bunch of fish that's working through near bottom, down there where we're at. Right there where our baits are at. Yeah, that's another blue right there. Okay. Well, double, folks. That's some excitement right there. Let me show you though. Look at all this. Look at all these marks right here. From about 40 feet down to 62 feet. And there's a larger fish right there along the bottom too. But they're all over right there. I don't know what they are. Let's start landing fish here, what do you say? That way we can get some more baits down there. Oh, this one's got that head bait wedged in his mouth, buddy. He has got that thing choked. It's a wonder he got that bait in the mouth. Come here, you old blue cat. Look at this thing. We're gonna pull that head bait back out. We're probably gonna cut up a new one in a second, but. Oh, we lost the head. There it went. Oh man, he's got that. Come in here, blue cat. He had the head bait choked in the mouth, and he has completely swallowed that fly. Boy, I hate that. I might be able to get that out, actually, if I can reach it. Come on, fish, open up. It is down in there. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it. I don't think my pliers are long enough, and he ain't gonna open up enough. Boy, I hate that. He got that thing deep. Oh, I got it, by gosh, I did. Are you bleeding? No? He ain't bleeding. He got that damn fly and then ate the head. He wanted it all, buddy. You got lucky, fish. I thought that one might be too deep to get out, but he gone. Okay. That's the luckiest fish alive right there. He was real close to being gut hooked. This in here, so he don't feel lucky at all. He's apparently thrown that bait off. He didn't even get to eat it, he said. Now we're in big trouble now. Now we ain't got the pieces to put together. Now, if a game warden comes up now, we're gonna have to hope he will accept video proof of the size of that fish. This is y'all's big chance. Y'all call the game warden on me. Call him right now. Get him to come out here. This is your chance. Get me that ticket. All right, another fish right there. Let's get him going. Get some more baits down there. We got all these fish just sitting there, man. They're all right there from 40 feet down to 60 feet. I have no idea what the heck they are, but they're in good numbers. Here's what I want to do. What do I do with that piece of crappie? Would y'all hide that crappie from me? Oh, there it is. That thing, if it was a snake, it had me. Well, let's cut this now. We'll just cut the tail off. And we'll just trim them fins up a little bit, and that'll be our next piece of crappie. The crappie has done pretty good for us here. That's what, the second fish on the crappie. We got that one on the head, and now one on the chunk, and then of course the live crappie got unsuccessfully eaten. Eaten, but not eaten to the hook. Yeah, crappie's a good bait. I like it better kind of in late winter, early spring time periods. That's when I do my best on crappie, but never a bad time to use it. Well, let's send it down. We'll put us another skipjack head on the front rod. We're getting there, folks. It's been a grind this morning. It's been a slow day thus far, but we're getting there. That's fishing, man. That's just how it goes sometimes. It'd be nice if every trip you hit the water, that fishing was just, the bite was on when you get there and they bit right up until you was ready to leave. That'd be nice, but that ain't reality. That's just the real world. Sometimes it takes a while. Okay. Get another skippy here. Oh, Skippy. I can't believe that fish, man. He ate the fly, inhaled the fly, and then went after the head bait, buddy. He was hungry. He said he was going to get him he got the buffet, but he paid for the buffet. He wasn't getting a plate of food. He went to the buffet and was coming back for seconds. All right. Okay. Down it goes. All right, so we got skipjack head going down. I'm not going to reel up that chunk over there just yet and replace it because it ain't really been messed with. So it ought to be still in pretty good shape. So we'll leave it be. We'll throw this back in the cooler here. Get the cutting board cleaned off. God knows you ain't gonna clean it for me. That head, maybe I'm imagining things. What I am gonna do though, this crappie head, since we've lost the other piece of the chunk, we can't put the crappie back together now and make it whole. I'm gonna just throw that out. So it's gone now, folks. Now, unless when the game warden comes up, unless he makes me reel up my lines, which that would be a real jerk move to do that. But otherwise, now any crappie in our cooler, they're whole. The crappie in our bucket are whole. Y'all have missed your chance to get me a ticket today. You should have called him as soon as I got out here. Those of you who want to get me in trouble. Anyhow, what was I talking about? I was talking about something. Oh, I was going on about the charity stuff. So, yeah, so this guy comments and he wants me to use my platform here to raise some money, start a charity, whatever, for these flood victims. And I don't know if he's sincere about it or what, you know, I can't interpret. Anytime somebody tells me to do something, I don't know if their heart's in the right place or if they're just trying to tell me what to do because they think they're my boss. I don't know. This person never commented before. So I don't know, but either way, I'm not going to do that. I don't know the first thing about starting a charity. I know there's rules, regulations, all that stuff. As far as for me starting some kind of like a GoFundMe or trying to get you all to leave money in the super chat thing, like that would be, you're gonna lose. I don't know about the GoFundMe, but like if you donate money through YouTube, whether it's the YouTube comment box, sometimes people will do I think it's called a super thanks or super chat in there. Or if you're on a live stream and people give you money through the super chat, a lot of that money disappears right off the top. YouTube takes 30%. They're like the pimp, man. They take 30% right off the top. That's their cut. Now, what's left of that money is considered income. So at the end of the year, YouTube's gonna send me a 1099 form. I'm gonna pay taxes on that money as income. So let's say a person gives me $100 for this flood relief charity here that we're going to be starting through the YouTube. Well, we're down to 70 out of that 100 right off the top because YouTube's cut. And I'm going to pay 35% in taxes. So what's 35% of 70? That's 10% would be $7. So 30 would be 21. 21 plus 350. So 2450 of the 70 that's left is going to go to the IRS, because it's taxable income for me, because it's coming through the YouTube thing, right? So what's 70 minus 2450? 40, what was it, 4350, 4450, something like that. My math is bad. It's later in the morning, but it's too damn early to be doing arithmetic. But nevertheless, you're going to get, if somebody give me $100 to this flood relief, I'm going to be able to give 40 some odd dollars of it to a charity. Then what charity do you give to? How much of that 40 something dollars is going to the victims of the flooding versus a administrator or somebody that works at the charity? Because a lot of these charities, you all have probably seen this. There's been reports, I think 60 Minutes done a thing years ago about these charities where 90% of it gets used for salary and buildings and office expenses. A percentage of the money actually goes to the actual people that, you know, that get the money from the charity. And so I'm not a charity expert. I don't know even how to do the research to find out how charities spend their money. So for me to recommend a charity to you to donate your money to would be, I mean, I think it'd be stupid on my part, because I'm so ignorant, I'm so uneducated. I don't even know how, I certainly wouldn't want to take money from you to go give to a charity, because that would be irresponsible. They would only be getting a percentage of it from me because of the things I explained, and then what charity would I give it to? I don't know. I'm just not up to date on all this stuff. I will say, you know, if you are the giving kind and you have extra money to give, I would encourage you to do your own research and find a quality charitable organization, or maybe an individual family up there to sponsor or help out. I think that would be great if you did that. But for me to come on here and try to tell you how to spend your charitable dollars, or worse yet, to try to create a charity, it just, like, you know, my hat's off to these people that start charities, but there's a process to it, and I don't know what that process is. Like, that's not my area. I don't know. So for me to do that would just be stupid. It would end up wasting more money than what it would be benefiting the people that would be getting it, is what I'm getting at, I guess. So I encourage you all, if you have a charity that you like, that you believe in, if you know people up there and you can help out individuals, please, by all means, do so. But I don't want to use this platform to, and I'm trying to think of a way to, I know I'm going to sound like an ass when I say this. And I don't mean it to come across how I'm about to sound when I come across. Because there's two schools of thought. On one hand, I do have a large platform. I do have influence. And so if I try to direct people toward a certain cause, the thought is that I can probably move the needle a little bit, right, with my size of my audience. The other thought of that, though, is that in a situation like this with the flooding, everybody in the country knows about it. Like, it's all over the news. Everybody has seen the devastation. So the people who are going to give, the people who are willing to give money in that situation, they're already going to give it. Like, this isn't some unique cause that I could be raising money for that nobody's ever heard of before. Like, this is a national news story. It is a major event. So the people who are going to give, it's already done being given. Now, if I ask for a personal favor or something, maybe I get some extra money for it, but it's hard for me to ask for a personal favor because I don't personally know anyone who was affected. I feel bad for them. It's awful, but who am I going to direct the money to, or what charity to, that's not going to just spend the money on salaries and whatnot? So I think it'd just be irresponsible of me to do that in that situation. Now, if it was a unique cause and I could use this platform to bring awareness to that unique individual or unique cause or whatever it was that otherwise people wouldn't know about, that's a different situation. Okay, that's totally different. But in this situation, the awareness is already there. The people who are going to give and donate, they've already done it. And so I don't really think that me doing anything on this channel at this point adds to that. Here's the other thing, and I see this with some YouTube channels and just social media people in general. And it's a pet peeve of mine, and this will make me look bad when I say this. But again, I'm not somebody with just a screen name behind a keyboard. The stuff that makes me look bad, I own it. I fully just back it up to say this is just who I am, this is how I am. But I have a pet peeve with social media influencers, YouTubers, TikTokers who use charities as a way to try to get goodwill or favoritism from their audience. In my mind, I think if you want to donate and give to a charity or charitable cause, you should do so with nothing expected in return. And I've given money to several causes through the years. I get a lot of requests because when you've got a large following on social media, people reach out to you all the time. Business deals, business offers, people wanting free gear, handouts, give money to this charity, this money to this tournament, donate gear here for this, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's just every day there's something in the email, somebody wanting something from you. So you kind of have to be selective. You can't you can't just give money and products to everybody that reaches out. There has to be a process. And so I've given money to several causes through the years. Daniel there, Catfish Sumo, I know he's given thousands of dollars away in money and products. But you can't give to all of them because it's just every day you're inundated with requests. But when I do give money or products to a cause, I want it to be because I want to do it, not because I'm looking for publicity. And that's what you see with these YouTubers, these TikTokers and social media. They're like, oh, folks, look at me. Here's me handing a check over to such and such cause. Look at me. Look how great I am. No, you look like a piece of shit. You look like you're using a charity. You look like you're using a tragedy to try to gain goodwill in your favor, to try to get extra eyes on you. That's what it looks like to me. I can't stand it. It's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like it, and therefore I don't want to be that kind of person. So yes, I will occasionally, something tugs on the heartstrings, animals specifically. I'm a sucker for sick animals and whatnot. I've given to sick animals. I've given to sick kids. I've done several things through the years, but it's all behind the scenes. I'm not going to announce to the world, hey, this person that I kind of knew through the fishing community, their kids had a stroke, and so I've given some. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to use their family's personal tragedy to try to gain goodwill and favor with you, the audience. I'm not. If I give to a charity or a charitable cause, it's because I want to, because I feel it's the right thing to do, not because I need something in return for it. So it pisses me off. I find it incredibly distasteful and annoying that these influencers do this. And so, are they all like that? No, they're not. There are some people whose hearts are genuinely in the right place when they make their social media posts and they're raising money for a charity. Undoubtedly, some of them hearts in the right place. If it's a situation, let's say there was a YouTuber whose town got washed away in these floods, and they come on there and they're like, man, we lost everything. My neighbors have lost everything. Our town, here's what we're doing. You know, give money to this cause because it'll go to affect this or that, the other. That's one thing, man. That's, you know, that you can look at that situation and say, okay, that YouTuber, that TikToker, that person was personally affected by that situation, and they know how to direct that money to best help them in that situation. But when I see a YouTuber, they come on and how they live across the country from where this has happened, not personally affected at all. They don't know anybody that's personally affected, and they're like, okay guys, yeah, we're gonna go live today for X number of hours. Y'all tell your friends because we're going live today. Try to get as many people in here as you can, and we're gonna try to get money to this GoFundMe or this charity or whatever. They don't know a damn thing about the charity. I guarantee you, if you ask them where does that money go, who's the person you're going to cut the check, they don't know a damn thing. They're just trying to use that situation to try to get a bunch of people on their live stream or a bunch of people to watch their video or whatever. They're using it. It's disgusting, really. It's disgusting. And I'm just not going to do it. And I'm not going to use my channel for that. And unfortunately, because of that, I'm not going to be able to I'm not going to raise money for these charities that could benefit from it and could use that money. But I'm just not going to be that type of person. And some of you will understand, and others will be disgusted by what I just said, because maybe you don't realize what these other YouTubers are doing, or maybe you just don't care, because money's money either way, and if it gets donated to whatever charity, even if only 10% of it goes to the victims, it's still something. I get it. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. We're just different strokes for different folks. We're different people. But that's my thought on it, and I'm not going to use my channel for that. I'm just not. Now, again, if it's a unique cause, if it's something I'm super passionate about, maybe at some point in the future I change my mind, but most of the time I will just, if it's something that tugs on the heartstrings, I will give them money out of my pocket and just give it. I don't want publicity for it. I don't want any recognition for it. I don't need any of that. I just want to do it because I want to do it, because I feel like it's the right thing to do. So, yeah, if that makes me the asshole, it makes me the asshole. That's how I feel about it. Even with the audience I have, whatever, I'm 1.5 million views a month right now, averaging. This video here will probably get somewhere between 50 and 100,000 views, probably. I don't think if I raised money for the flood victims that I would actually raise that much. Even having the reach that I currently have and the influence I currently do. Because again, I think the people who are going to give have already given. Or they're waiting to see like individual people up there that they can help, or individual businesses that are in dire need. Not just some random charity. I can't even think any off the top of my head. And that's just me personally. I can't even think of the last large charity that I give any money to. I'm far more inclined to give money to an animal shelter, to an individual who has a sick child, or some situation like that, than I am a large organization that they've got offices, they've got people on salary. You have no idea how much of that money that you're giving is actually going toward the cause. And so I know dollar for dollar, if I give to an individual person with the sick kid, that money's going to be more beneficial than me giving that same amount of money to pick your large charitable organization, right? So maybe that makes me the asshole, but that's how it is. And I for damn sure ain't gonna start no charity. I don't know a thing about it. And I just, you know, if you give money to a charitable organization, it is tax deductible. So I guess in this situation, if you gave money through my YouTube channel, YouTube's gonna take their cut regardless. But that 70% that's left, maybe I wouldn't get taxed on that amount if we could do some, you know, but I don't know. Again, I don't know that stuff. So that's why I'm the wrong person to go about it. Like, I'm just ignorant. I'm uneducated on it. And the person that left the comments obviously ignorant too, because again, he apparently don't realize that YouTube takes 30% and then you get taxed on the rest. So if somebody gives money through a super chat, you end up with 45, 50% of it, of whatever they give. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. I feel terrible for the flood victims. It's awful. My heart goes out to them. I hope if you have the means that you will find a suitable charity, or better yet, to find individual families up there that you can help. But you know, I'm not going to try to raise money to randomly donate to a charity that we don't even know where that money's going. And again, it sticks in my craw, man, because I've seen that scrolling through social media. We're going live today for 8 hours. Tell all your friends we're going live today because we want to bring in as many people as possible, and blah, 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 blah. And they're carrying on, and it's like a damn telethon, but they're barely mentioning the charity. They're barely mentioning it. The only time they mention the charity is when they're telling you to go tell your friends to log on to their live stream. Like, it's just disingenuous. I don't like it. I don't like people that do that. And I know it's a social media world we live in today. You gotta, whatever it takes to get clicks. Clickbait titles, clickbait thumbnails, put girls with big old titties in your videos. You know, if you got somebody else out there whose video doing good, people will steal the video titles word for word, try to copy the thumbnail and stuff to try to mooch off them. You got these people in internet cafes downloading your videos and re-uploading them, try to get, it's all about getting clicks in 2024. But and I ain't saying I'm better than that, but I'm kind of better than that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that to get clicks. And I'm not going to use a charity or a human tragedy to try to get clicks to my channel. I'm not going to go out and hire a stripper to come flop her titties around here in the kayak with me to try to get extra views on my video. I don't have to do that. I'm not going to scroll the internet looking for viral video titles and go copy them word for word to try to get extra clicks. I don't have to do that. It's just, you know, the people that do that are trash, in my opinion. And I'm not going to do it. If that's what I got to do, if the day comes, that's what I got to do to get a click, then that's time for me to post that picture on social media of me riding off into the sunset. That's the time to do it. So, this video today, man, I feel like it's been kind of negative. Between me talking about the crappie fishermen and the people who take advantage of tragedies to get clicks and stuff, like, I don't mean it to be negative. I am in a good mood. It may not seem that way when I'm going on these rants, but I'm in a really good mood today. Like, I feel really good about having these crappie. And even though we botched the one live crappie that got eat over here, like, I feel good about where things are today. Even though we ain't got the fish yet that I would like to get, like, I feel good about the day. So I'm happy. I'm in a good mood, even though it may not seem like it. I promise I am. It's just been one of those days we went off on some topics here, and The topics took a negative turn, I guess. But if you all were out here fishing with me, and that's what these videos are meant to be, is real fishing trips. If we were out here fishing together, this would be the crap that we're talking about. This would be the exact conversations that we would have had today. We would have just had it on a one-on-one situation versus me talking into this camera and spewing it out to tens of thousands of people, potentially. And that's part of it too. When you reaching this number of people, it's like you're reaching people from so many different walks of life and so many different backgrounds and stuff. It's of course, you're going to be endearing to some people and offensive to others, all with the same statement. It's because it's all about your own life experiences and your own backgrounds and your own personal thoughts and beliefs. It's like me reading that comment of the guy telling me I need to start a charity and use my audience here to get money for the flooding. Half of you out there watching this right now would have read that comment and be like, oh, this guy's in the heart's in the right place. And half of you out there read that comment, or maybe like me, like the way he worded it, the way it was written, was like he was telling me to do something. Like, you know, like bossing me, like ordering me. And so it's all in how you interpret something. And with these texts, whether it's text message, YouTube comment, social media post, whatever, it can be interpreted a variety of ways. And I realize that. So I typically try to give people, unless it's obvious, unless somebody's just personally attacking me, like some of these crappie fishermen, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But every once in a while, like I blocked a guy recently on my channel. He would leave a lot of comments on every video. He was a regular viewer. You know, because I recognize his name because he would comment multiple times on every video. But a lot of his comments were just kind of, I could tell this guy was a prick in real life and was somebody that I knew I wouldn't get along with in real life. And the first couple comments that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, I'm like, I'm just going to let it go. This is a regular viewer. He comments multiple times on every video. Like he's clearly watching the stuff. But when it happens over and over and over and over again, you're like, you know what, this guy, he's just a prick. I can't stand this guy. I don't like him. I wouldn't want to interact with him in real life. Hell with him. I block him. And if it costs me views, it costs me views. Because again, I don't give a damn. I don't need to put up with any nonsense. I would rather have less views and put up with less BS. That's just me. You know, but some of that, if it happens on one message, on one comment, you might say, well, I misinterpreted that. But when it happens over and over and over again, you're like, okay, this is a pattern. Like this guy's just a prick. So, yeah, so that's one of those situations. But I've had numerous times in the past where, I mean, even if it's somebody you know, like I've had fights with girlfriends before, arguments where a text message gets misinterpreted. Whether it's them misinterpreting me or me misinterpreting them, like it's went both ways, it happens. And that's with somebody that you know. Now you get out in internet land with people with random screen names. You have no idea who they are, where they live, nothing about them. Well, then it's so much easier in that situation to misinterpret something. So I try not to go too hard on people. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you just never know. You never know what people's true intentions are, and so sometimes I let stuff go, and other times, like the guy who commented multiple times there, I let his stuff fly for a while. But finally, he said the wrong thing on the wrong day, and it got his ass blocked. It just hit me at the wrong time. Got to post and ghost, man. You got to go Joe Rogan with it. Post and ghost. Disappear. Don't go to the comment box. Don't interact with people. That's how you got to do it. I just ain't good at that. If it's there, I'm tempted to look. It's like that piece of chocolate sitting on your kitchen counter. If I got a piece of chocolate there, I'm gonna partake. I'm gonna sneak a bite of it from time to time. That's why I can't buy stuff like that, because I'll eat it, and I'll eat all of it. I can't have it in my house. I'm too tempted. Anyway, this video, boy, we went negative today. I don't mean to be negative, y'all. I don't mean to do it. I don't want to be like that. It just happens sometimes. But I am in a good mood, though. I'm in a real good mood today. I'm gonna be in a better mood. We hook a big fish. Could happen anytime. You just never know when fish are going to move through places like this. I like to hit them at dawn and dusk, because those are oftentimes kind of time periods where fish are feeding more. But like yesterday, about 11 o'clock when I got out here, and I got 2 fish right away, and you just don't know. You don't know day by day. You can pattern it sometimes. If you figure out when they're biting, you can ride that out. But individual day, you just got to play the percentages, which is what I do most of the time. I try to put myself in situations like this where you've got a clear path for fish moving in and out of deep water, and we set up right in front of it and let them swim through our baits and take the free meal. And you do that long enough, or enough days throughout the year, you get rewarded. So I like fishing like this. It's very productive, but on an individual day, you just can't predict. So been a bit of slow morning thus far as action goes, but we have gotten a few fish. It's not a skunk trip. We did get one of the live crappie there gobbled up, although it just didn't stay buttoned. Probably didn't have the whole crappie in the hook, truth be told. Probably just had part of the crappie there, which he didn't. He had some scales right there on that one side that was kind of displaced, but it wasn't he didn't have like a major bite mark on him. So I don't know what had him. We'll never know. I'd like to know, though. I'd like for it to happen again. When I roll out of here today, though, assuming we got some crappie left, and I hope we do, the rate we're going to have 3 of them left in there, assuming they're all alive. But when I get back to the launch today, I will switch out the water in that bucket. Just put all fresh water in that way. Because them crappie, when they're pooping in the water and stuff, and they're shedding some of their slime from the stress, it can change the pH level in that water. And when you got a small container like this 5-gallon bucket here, it don't take a lot to change the pH to the point that it'll kill them. So I'll dump that water out, switch it out, put some fresh in there. I've got the aerator, of course, going. I've got another aerator at home, it's a larger aerator pump, like for an aquarium. Put that in there and kind of hyperoxygenate them a little bit. And then put frozen bottles of water down in there to because the cooler you can keep that water, the less stress, the better they seem to do. It seems like it stresses them less. So that'll help too. But that's what I'll do when I get home today. And then hopefully keep them alive, however many we end up having left, until tomorrow. And we'll try to find another spot as bad as this one to go and catch a fish tomorrow. I've caught big fish here before. Yesterday, the 2 fish I got yesterday here was pretty good quality fish. But there was one year, I can't remember if it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but I was fishing out here with Kayak Mike. He had come down, he was camping down here, and him and I fished together. And we come out here to this spot. I had him at the top of the drop, and I was down here at the bottom of it. And I started catching flatheads. So I hollered at him, and he come over here to the bottom of the drop, and we both started catching flatheads. And we caught like 7 flatheads in a 30-minute window. And they were good-sized flatheads, too. They were quality flatheads, but 7 of them. And it was around this time of year, if memory serves me. I think it was like September, October, somewhere kind of in that time period. So, I mean, I've caught other big fish here in the past, too. With me being in a kayak, my range is obviously very limited, right? Like I don't have access to the entire river. So the places that I fish are oftentimes very close to places where I can launch. And so if there is a boat ramp within a mile radius of places like this, I've probably fished it. If it's outside of a mile radius, there's a chance that there's places here, and I've grew up here. There's places I've never fished. There's sections of the Tennessee River here I've never accessed before because I can't get to them. It's too great a distance between launch sites that I can use. So places that are productive, that kind of meet the criteria, the qualifications I'm looking for to fish, if they're close to a launch site, I've probably hit them. And I've probably hit them at numerous times throughout the year to try to dial in when the best time to hit that particular area is. Now, out here, this spot, this is kind of the middle of the reservoir. So what I've kind of found with these places that are middle of the reservoir is you can kind of get fish anytime. Hold on, y'all, I got a cough. I just woke some of yous up there. I put some of yous to sleep with the lack of fish being caught today, and I just woke yous up with my coughing right in the microphone. I gotta get me a drink. I got some phlegm, some snot, something down the throat, down the windpipe. I had a tickle there I had to get. But when you got places that are kind of in the middle of these reservoirs, those are more likely to get you bit. And this is just my experience here. This is just me talking from my own experiences out here through the years. But the middle of the reservoirs is going to get you bit fairly consistently throughout the year. The lower end seems to be better kind of the later part of the year. Upper end kind of better the beginning part. Now, I think it's probably just migratory. Fish moving up there in the spring, move back downriver after that. I think a lot of the bait fish do that. Skipjack certainly will run way upriver to spawn. They oftentimes get stuck at the dams, of course, here on the Tennessee River, and then they will gradually make their way back downriver. So when you get fish that are following the schools of bait, if you follow the bait, you can kind of follow where the fish are going to be too, but there's these middle sections of the reservoirs always seem to be productive. They might not be the most productive, depending on time of year, but you can usually get some fish there, places like this. And I won't say any of them, some are certainly better than others, but when you do have a defined channel, I can't stress that enough, defined channel. Use your electronics. You don't need a fancy graph. You don't need a live scope to do what I'm telling you here. You could have just a $50 2D black and white screen, but you're going across, you're reading your depth, and you watch it drop off into that old channel and then come back up. If you see that, then you have a defined channel there. That is a legitimate old creek bed, and fish will use that to go up. Now, will they use all of them? Well, hell no, not 100% of them. I find that the creeks that dumped out into the main channel do better than creeks that maybe dumped out into what is now kind of a deeper flat. Any creek that goes out into the main channel, though, is going to have a much better chance of success for me. But it's got to have that defined channel. If you troll over it there and look on your electronics and you don't see that dip because it's either silted in or it just wasn't a very deep creek to begin with, well, fish may use it, possibly. I mean, if it was, say it was a real rocky, maybe it was a real shallow creek bed, but it was rocky. So you go from a mud bottom to that little rocky area and then back to mud bottom. Well, in that situation, maybe fish will use it a little more frequently because the difference, in a world where everything's the same, I always say, look for what's different. These fish are swimming around there, they're in deep water, very minimal light penetration, if any, at those deeper depths. Everything looks the same, so that's why I follow the edges, follow the contours, follow those channels up, something that those fish can relate to. So if you get an area where the bottom composition changes, maybe it goes from mud to rock or vice versa or whatever, sometimes those areas will hold fish. And fish will kind of use those areas to travel along too. But it's tough to tell. If you've got just a basic 2D sonar, some people are good enough with it, they can look and say, okay, I'm getting a brighter color return on the screen here. Something's working this head bait now over here. I see my rod tip wiggling a little bit. My line looks like it's swimming a little bit to the left there too, matter of fact. I think he just dropped it then. It's acting like a small fish. He needs to leave it alone if he ain't gonna eat it. But the gist of it is, I mean, if you see that defined channel, I'd focus on those. If you're good with your electronics and you can say, well, I'm getting a brighter return here or a darker return here, so that means it's going from a rocky bottom to mud bottom. If you're good at that, then if you're that good with electronics, you probably don't have any trouble reading a map anyway. But if you're somebody, maybe you're new to the sport, you're just getting started, you're trying to learn how to read these maps and trying to find places to catch fish. The type of place I'm setting up in front of today is a good place to try. I know it ain't, I'm not being a good salesman today as far as proving that there's fish here that they're going to use it, but I mean, just in general, it's a good rule of thumb, something to look for. Oh, he's back over it again now. He's come back. Better leave it alone, fish. I'm done with you now. Yeah, I'm thinking now, I wonder if yesterday was just a fluke when I got them 2 fish so quickly. Right place, right time. I just fished it a few minutes. I got that second bite there of the blue. After that flathead hit, I'm like, I'm gonna leave it be. If these fish are here, I don't want to stick them today and then not be able to stick them coming out here tomorrow. I mean, what I'm trying to say. Yesterday was blah, 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 you get it. Fumble my words around. But I didn't want to stick those fish yesterday and then they not be willing to bite today, so I left. But now I'm thinking, God, I should have stayed. I should have just called him yesterday. I ain't been a good salesman on this type of spot for today. We should have maybe went somewhere where we would have had more flow. I mean, the flow is behind us for sure. But the way this island sits, the way this creek come out with that island there, like we're kind of in a slack water area. You can see just by how the kayak's positioned. The kayak, if you got current, the kayak is gonna turn into the current with that GPS motor on spot lock. But over here where we're at, we're kind of slack water right here, it's just at the mercy of the wind. And the wind's barely blowing, it's barely moving. But it's kind of turning us into that. So, maybe a bad call on my part. Yesterday, dragging through the creek from the ramp out, there was a stupid call on my part. There was just nothing going on back there. I mean, I wasn't seeing shad flipping. I wasn't seeing marks on. I didn't start seeing fish, bait fish, anything on the screen until I got out here almost to the end of it. So, odd situation, but dumb on my part. We caught so many fish there on Monday. I should have just tried to replicate that bite somewhere else yesterday, but instead I pulled a 180, dragged from the shallows on out. Didn't do worth a diddly do until I got out here, and then come out here today expecting them fish to be here, but they ain't been here yet. But tomorrow, I think we'll hit somewhere. We'll pick out a spot that we're out in the current a little more, got a little bit more flow, help get our scent dispersed. I think that's what we'll do. I don't know where we'll go yet, but I want to put somewhere where we got some flow and maybe put these live crappie to use somewhere. I want to get them things eat, man. I want to get one of them live crappie just devoured on camera and break them crappie fishermen's hearts. The fish is back there chewing on that head again. What do you think would be more upsetting to these crappie fishermen? You think the fact that I would use a live crappie and it'd get eaten by catfish? Or if I use a live crappie and it doesn't get eaten by catfish? It gets technically wasted. Which I wouldn't say it was wasted. I mean, even if you don't catch fish on it, you still had the opportunity to. We couldn't have done what we're doing today with the live bait if we didn't have live bait. But that would be their argument. Well, you just wasted that. You didn't even, you killed that crappie to try to catch a catfish, and you didn't catch the catfish with it, so you wasted it. That'll be their argument next. I wonder what pisses them off more. I want to catch a fish with that crappie, obviously. But if you told me it was going to piss the crappie fisherman off more if it didn't get a fish on it, I'd be okay with it. So I just want to stick it to those people. All them people that have wished bad things on me over a fish that's well within my rights to do, boy, it just... I got a lot of people that piss me off in this world. There's an old saying, if you got a problem with everybody, maybe everybody ain't the problem. Maybe it's you. I might be at the stage of my life where I'm the problem. It's not everybody else. It's not society. It's just me. I'm the problem. That could be the case. I'm fully willing to accept that. I won't be accepting a ticket at the present time for a crappie that's been cut up, though. For you crappie fishermen out there that may still be watching, because right now we don't have any cut up in my cooler. So if I get checked, then, well, I'm legal. Maybe on the next one. I don't know how that works. I've never been stopped by a game warden. I've had my fishing license checked like one time fishing on the bank that I can remember, maybe twice. But it's been a long time. And I've been stopped by the survey person. I see the survey person 2 or 3 times a year. where they come up and they ask you questions. What are you fishing for? How long you been out here? How long you going to fish? How much money did you spend on today's trip? They're just collecting data. I see that person 2 or 3 times a year. But the actual game warden? Never see them. So I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Like, when they pull up, do they make you reel up your lines to check them? What's on there? Or they just go through your cooler and your live well? I don't know. I mean, they can technically do whatever they want, but I don't know what it is that they do. You know what gets me too is you see these type of videos on social media. And it'll be people saying they get pulled over by the cop. Maybe they get pulled over for speeding or something. And they'll put this sign up. They've already written the sign out and they'll put it up in the window. I don't have to tell you anything, officer. I don't have to tell you my name or whatever. And they're filming the whole thing. It's like they're trying to catch that officer making a mistake or doing something. Now look, I know there's some crooked cops out there. There is. I mean, there's crooked everybody. I don't care what industry you're in. I was a nurse before this YouTube crap. You know how many drug addict nurses I worked with through the years? Hell, I worked with a girl one time. We found her in a damn bathroom, OD'd. Because she was diverting drugs and shooting them up. I mean, we kind of had our suspicions about this girl because she was just a lazy piece of crap. Hated working with her. She wouldn't help you do anything. But by God, if your patient needed pain meds, she would race you to the Pyxis to get them. You come back, oh, Justin, I gave your patient in room 14, I gave them some pain meds. I'm like, oh, great. Do you have a second? I need you to help me roll this person. Oh, no, I can't, I'm busy doing. She always had an excuse of why she couldn't help you if you needed real work done, needed actual help with something. But by God, she'd race you in there to the Pyxis to get the pain meds. We found her OD'd in the bathroom. She'd been in there shooting up and shot up a little too much. But I mean, the bottom line is there's bad people in all walks of life, all industries. I've worked with drug addict nurses. There are bad cops. There are bad lawyers. I mean, it's just, pick your industry. There's bad people in all. But I think most nurses you meet are good people. Most cops you meet, they're good people. They're doing a job. They're trying to get through their day and earn their check just like you at whatever job you're at. But when these people on the social media videos, they get pulled over, maybe the cop pulling them over was justified, maybe it wasn't. But when that person sticks up a sign in their window, they won't roll the window down. They just barely crack it where they can slide their driver's license out, and they got that sign up. They're not going to speak to the cop or anything. I'm like, again, I'm the type of person, I'm going to show you the same amount of respect you show me. If a person's a dick to me, I'm going to be a dick back. If they're polite to me and respectful to me, I'm going to be polite and respectful to them. So when a cop walks up in that situation, I'm going to immediately be polite and respectful, because why wouldn't I be? I'm going to roll my window down. I'm going to handle my license and insurance card. I'm maybe not going to answer incriminating questions, but I'm not doing anything incriminating. So there's nothing the cop is going to ask me that's going to bait me into getting myself in trouble, because I'm not breaking the law to begin with, unless I've been caught speeding or maybe turned on a stop sign without coming to a complete stop or something. I don't know, but something trivial like that. Like, I'm not breaking the law. So I have no reason to be a prick to the cop. The Tyreek Hill thing blew up here recently. Tyreek Hill, he's a wide receiver, star wide receiver for Miami Dolphins. And he got pulled over recently, and he ended up getting pulled out the car and flung on the ground, and people were filming, and of course he's Tyreek Hill, so he's a big star and got a lot of influence, and he's demanding the cop be fired, and I don't know whatever happened to that. I don't know if the cop ever got fired or not. But I saw that video, and of course the internet's trying to turn it into a race thing. They're treating him that way because he's black, because he's a black man, an expensive car, and so that's why he's getting treated. And I watched that video, and I don't see that at all. I see Tyreek Hill being very uncooperative with the officer. He was rude right off the start. He was very uncooperative. When they asked him to step out, he would not. He wouldn't comply. Now you can make the argument, well, maybe he shouldn't have to comply. And maybe by law, maybe he shouldn't have had to. But again, it goes back to a respect thing. If the officer comes up to my car and pulls me over, I'm going to give him my license. I'm going to give him my insurance card. I'm going to be polite to him as long as he's polite to me. If he asks me to step out, I'm going to step out. Again, I'm not breaking the law. I'm not doing anything, so what do I care? Like they say, well, you shouldn't ever let a cop search your car. Well, I don't know why they would search my car, but if they did, am I going to not allow it? What do I care? There's nothing in my car for them to find. What do I care? I have nothing to hide. So, and I think that's the case 99.9% of the time. If you just, my situation there, I talked about that misdemeanor charge with that stupid-ass state trooper in North Carolina. He was a prick, and every time I've been pulled over by a state trooper, it's happened 2 or 3 times in my life. I've had some speeding tickets, y'all. I've spent more money on speeding tickets than what I will ever spend for a crappie that I've cut up. Every time I've ever interacted with a state trooper, they've been just total dicks right off the bat. Just attitude. I mean, just very sternly, almost yelling at you because you're speeding on their highway, like they own that damn road. Now, those guys, I'm going to be cooperative, but I'm not going to be chatty Cathy with them. I'm not going to tell them to have a nice day when they hand me that ticket. But if a cop comes up and he's polite and said, do you know why I pulled you over? If I know, I know. If I don't, I don't. I'm guilty either way. Like if I was speeding, I probably know I was speeding. If he's nice, maybe he'll let me out with a warning. If he ain't, then I get a ticket. It's not the end of the world. But I'm not going to be just I'm not going to be a prick to them right off the bat. I'm not going to do that. And so therefore, I'm not going to find myself in that situation. It has nothing to do with me being white or black or brown or purple or any other color. It's just the fact that it's a matter of treating people with respect. And oftentimes when I see these videos, the Tyreek Hill situation, he was uncooperative right off the bat. And things just escalated. Now, again, should they have escalated? Maybe, maybe not. But had he been cooperative right from the start, it would have never been in that situation to begin with. And that's not the case with all of it. Don't y'all come at me. We're touching on some sensitive topics here. Don't y'all come at me. There are bad cops. There are cops that have done inappropriate things, that have abused their power. It's documented. We've seen the videos of it. There's cops in jail right now for doing that kind of stuff that have been caught. And it most likely happens every day of the year somewhere in this country where some cop is abusing their power and it's somebody that don't have a camera going, they're not a celebrity, and they just get taken advantage of, or they get just unjustly ticketed or arrested or whatever. That happens. But folks, and maybe I'm naive here. I'm not much of a positive person. I'm not an optimist, but maybe I'm naive. But I just don't think it happens as frequently as what the news and the media outlets will have you believe it happens. I think most cops, just like most of you out there watching and most of the people you know, I think they're mostly good people. They're just trying to do their job, get through their day, cash a check, go home to their family. And maybe I'm naive. I admit it if I am. I don't know. But I was raised up different than that. I'm not going to be arguing and combative with a cop right off the bat of them pulling me over. I'm just not. That's just stupid. It's stupid. I don't understand it. It's like, unless, and sometimes I think the situation, I'm not saying the Tyreek Hill situation was like this, but I think sometimes people they want to provoke the cop. Because, I mean, anytime a cop gets provoked and there's video footage of it, the person who's getting arrested or whatever, they're getting a payday out of it, or they're going to try to. They're going to sue the police force, the county or sheriff's department, whoever it is that's involved. Like there's going to be a lawsuit involved. So sometimes I think that there's just some ulterior motives for their uncooperativeness when a cop pulls them over. But no, I mean, listen, I get it. Nobody wants to be pulled over. Nobody wants to get a speeding ticket. Nobody wants to be hassled with the cops. If a game warden comes up out here today, I don't want to be hassled with them going through my kayak and bait wells and all that. Nobody wants that. But is it the end of the world? Does it have to be, you have to be so uncooperative? No, I don't understand people. I think a lot of the situations that I've seen, the videos are put out in such a way to try to make the cops look bad. But I think it oftentimes makes the person in the video look bad. At least as far as I'm concerned looking at it. Not all the time. I mean, there's been some videos I've seen of cops that were really out of line. But most of the time, I think the person doing the filming provoked the situation. Most of the time. So, yeah, that's a sensitive topic. I'll probably get dinged for that one. That's one of them things there's a line in the sand. You want to see people come together though? Have a cop sitting out hidden somewhere, zapping people with the radar. You ever notice when a cop's hid behind a building or a side street or something, he's there zapping people with radar? When a car passes the cop, they see the cop and they're going on down. As the next car is coming this way, they'll flash their lights. You'll be driving down the road, you'll have 4 or 5 cars coming this way. They'll flash the lights, let you know there's a cop there. Them people don't know me. I don't know them. But nothing brings people together better than a cop out there writing tickets. We all come together to let our common man, to let our fellow man know, slow down. You're about to get a speeding ticket. Ain't that something? We live in a divisive world. All the media is trying to put two sides to keep us bickering amongst ourselves. Hell, this video today even, it's me against the crappie fishermen. But in the grand scheme of life, people are able to come together for a common enemy. You just need that common enemy. That's what it takes. A cop writing a ticket speeding ticket, common enemy. That cop may be a good person. He may be a good guy. He's just doing his job, but nobody wants to get no damn speeding ticket. I'm liable to get dinged today, though, for what we've touched on. You gotta tread lightly on some subject. And it ain't just what I say on video, it's what some of you go off on the comment box about. You trigger, I say something, I trigger people who then get nasty in the comment box, and they start arguing, y'all start arguing amongst yourselves down there, and then the YouTuber gets in trouble because y'all can't maintain yourself. That's another reason why you gotta go through the comment box and delete comments, block people and stuff to get out of line. Because YouTube holds us responsible for that. They say they don't, but then they do with their terms of service and the language, the way it's written. Back a few years ago, we had the, it's called the COPPA Act, C-O-P-P-A, I think, or C-O-P-A-A, Child Online Protective something Act. Child Online Protective, maybe it's COPA, Child Online Protective Act. There was something, some kind of bill, whatever Congress pushed through. And what it stemmed from was perverts in the YouTube comment box. People would have children on their videos. Maybe it was their own kids, or maybe they had a toy review channel, or their kids' sporting events, whatever. If you had children in your videos, minors, what would happen was these perverts would get in the comment box and try to communicate with the children, which is clearly wrong. We got something happening up here. This front rod is after that head bait again. I wish you'd take it down one time. We've had a slow day out here. We're due for a fish. Has he got it? He's pulling on it a little bit. I don't think we want to get him. I hope he drops it. Yeah, he dropped it good. We didn't want that one. That one's way too small. But this COPPA Act come down the pike there because of these perverts that were trying to be inappropriate, and oftentimes I guess were inappropriate, with children through the comment box. And so what happened was, immediately the comments got turned off on all channels that had children. Cats and Carp, Catfish and Carp, Luke Nichols there, he had his kids on his channel back then. I think this was before the Outdoor Boys channel. But just his Catfish and Carp channel, and his comments got turned off. I think Dieter Melhorn's comments had gotten turned off for a while. But all them channels that had kids on their videos, they got comment boxes shut off completely. And then they got the comments turned back on. But there was some language in the terms of service that the way it was worded, it was basically like the individual, it was worded in such a way that it made it sound like the individual YouTuber was going to be responsible for what happened in our comment box. So, you know, let's say you could apply that, and that was put in there because of the child perverts and stuff. But the way it was written, you could apply it to a bunch of different things. So let's say in my comment box, somebody, hell, I don't know, maybe they, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. Maybe they do something that causes harm to somebody. Maybe they're pissed off at somebody, they post an address, that person gets hurt, whatever, or they try to sell drugs, or just something illegal. The way it was written made it seem like that the individual YouTuber could be held responsible, even though it's not them commenting. just the fact that we're kind of we're forced to kind of moderate our comment boxes. I guess what I'm getting at. And so it's kind of died down since then. YouTube always goes, when something happens, there's always a knee-jerk reaction. The child pervert stuff, they're like, okay, comment box is gone on all those channels with kids in them. And a few months go by, now the comment boxes are back. A few years ago, you had what they called the adpocalypse. What had happened was there was some, I can't remember if it was like white supremacist, racist type things, or maybe it was terrorist groups or something. But they had posted some videos on there. And they ran like some big, I think it was Coca-Cola maybe. They ran ads, Coca-Cola ads on those videos. And Coke was like, this ain't acceptable. We don't want our brand, our products on those type of videos. So they pulled out. They pulled their advertising dollars out. A lot of big companies then followed suit. I think like Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson, Pepsi, McDonald's, they all backed out. And they called it the adpocalypse because all them companies had pulled their advertising dollars. So YouTube then goes to the extreme, right? Knee-jerk reaction. They're like, okay, channels can no longer be monetized or have advertisements on their channel until they hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. That's when all that started, when they started putting them requirements. When I got on YouTube initially, you could be monetized from day one. My channel wasn't monetized initially because I didn't know YouTube channels made money on here. I didn't have a clue at the time. I had gotten thousands of views long before I ever knew such a thing, that you could make money on this. But at the time when I did switch everything over to be monetized, all I had to do was click a button. That's all you had to do back then. But after all that mess happened with the companies pulling ads because their commercials were being shown on inappropriate videos, YouTube's knee-jerk reaction, well, let's just eliminate ads on all these small channels. And by the time a channel has gotten that many watch hours or 1,000 subscribers, they've probably all, if they're doing something inappropriate, they've already been reported and the channel's taken down before it gets to that point. So then here come the advertisers back. But it's, you know, it's just, that's just how it is, man. That's how it is today. It's just, it's reaction to a reaction type thing. And I don't even know where I was going with it now. I'm so discombobulated. We need a damn fish is what we need. What a bust of a day so far. I come out here feeling excited, man. Like I was pumped up for what was going to go down here today with our live crappie and whatnot. And boy, it's been a dud thus far. I'm gonna give another hour or so. What time is it? Yeah, I'm gonna give another hour or so. But I'm losing optimism by the second, man. That's just, I don't know, it's weird. I mean, normally in the fall, you'd expect to see a bunch of bait in the creek, but we got this situation going on with the water out here, all the flow in the main channel, and, you know, it's not an experience that we have here where I live. It don't happen very often. I can't remember ever in my lifetime us having this much water flow this time of year. So I wasn't really sure how fish were going to react to it, but went out there on Monday and had a productive day, got several fish. Thought okay, and made a stupid mistake there yesterday to mix it up, and that didn't work out. And I thought, well, okay, well, if the bait's out here, and I got them 2 fish there yesterday before I left, I'm like, we'll come out here today and we'll tear them up. We'll start out here, and the bait's still out here, which At times, we had them fish working through. We seen them on the screen. I don't know what they were. They're gone now. But they were here for a while. And you think, man, them fish are going to be all over it, buddy. But that ain't been the case. How many have we got now? 4? We had to double at one point. 4 fish. We had the takedown on the live crappie. It didn't hook up, so I don't know how many we got. I've lost, it's 4 or 5. It ain't been many. Which then begs the question, should I even post this video? Normally, if I'm gonna post one of these videos, I like to post it when it's got some fish in it. But at the same time too, normally, here's what happens. If I'm having a bad trip, you take yesterday, for example, right? I didn't end up, I filmed when I first got out here. I went through my whole spiel. We started dragging. Didn't have a sunrise yesterday because it was real cloudy. Couldn't show you all that, but I went through my spiel and I'm talking about what I'm doing, where I'm at, and we're covering water. But after like an hour, I get 45 minutes, I don't remember how long it was, I cut the camera off. I read the tea leaves, man. I just knew it wasn't gonna be our day because we hadn't got bit at all. I wasn't seeing diddly poo on the screen. I wasn't seeing any shad flipping anywhere. I'm like, we're just in the wrong place doing the wrong thing. Now my dumb ass, of course, instead of just immediately pulling everything up and going out here, I was like, I'm going down with the ship, man. I'm gonna just stay with it. I'm gonna I'm gonna go all the way out this creek. And I did. But I had already quit filming hours before I stopped fishing. I filmed, somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour and realized it wasn't gonna work out for us, and I just turned the camera off. So I'm just going fishing now. But a day like today, I had so much optimism, I just knew it was a matter of time before we got bit. And so I've sat out here and I've just rambled on and flapped my gums for hours, literally hours now. And so I'm torn at this point whether or not to post. I've had people request that I post videos that even on the bad trips, go ahead and post them, because people, some of you all out there really enjoy these videos, whether I'm catching fish or not. Some people will click on the video and fast forward through to the fish catches. That happens. They tell me as much. But then other people will comment and they'll comment on something I've said in the video that's some random time between fish catches. So I know some of you all out there like me and listen to me and enjoy these fishing trips, whether we're getting fish or not. And it's a fine line between, I obviously want to have a lot of fish in the video, big fish, preferably if we can, to try to make it entertaining for the people just clicking on fishing video, but I also want these trips to be realistic. And days like this that we've had today, man, it happens. You come out here with just full of optimism, just knowing you're going to get a big fish today, and at least to this point, it ain't happened. I know that's happened with you all out there. You lying if you say it ain't. You lying if you say it ain't, because we all have days like this where you either get skunked or day like we're having here, we get just a limited number of bites from small fish. It happens. It happens to every fisherman. It happens to me way more than I'd like. But in this situation, I'm like, what do you do? Do you post it? Do you not post it? I've seen other YouTubers post far worse catches than what we've had today. And clickbait the hell out of top. New PB catfish caught. It's a 5-pound cat. And it may be their new PB. Hell, I know, but that's what they're doing. Like, new PB, monster catfish. And it's a 10-minute video with 2 fish, and one of them weighs 5 pounds. Hundreds of thousands of views. Congrats to them for the clicks, but it's like, I don't want to be that person. So situations like this, very very confusing on what I should do. The other wild card in this is, again, I need to get some content put together this week so I can go out of town next week and not have any disruption to the video schedule. Because my plan is I'm going to leave out, weather permitting, this is all subject to change. Weather permitting, I'm wanting to leave out Monday afternoon. The 7th, I think it is. October 7th, I think. That sounds right in my head. I'm wanting to leave out, Daphne the dog's got a vet appointment. I want to take her to that, and then I want to leave out and drive part of the way on Monday and then the other part of the way on Tuesday, and either start fishing on Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday morning. And I'm going to catfish up through Saturdays, where our tournament will be that following Saturday. I think it's the 12th, I think. That sounds right in my head. And then I'd like to stick around in Louisiana, and either, if the catfish bite's great, then do some more of that, but I'd like to maybe try to get in a saltwater session too, potentially. At least 1 or 2 sessions. So I'll be gone for probably a week to 10 days. And I need some videos scheduled out so that I don't have, because there's no way in hell. These, especially these unedited videos, like the file size, 90 gigabyte files. Like, you ain't uploading that at a hotel. The hotel Wi-Fi, I don't care what hotel you're in, the Wi-Fi ain't that good. Like, you just can't upload those file sizes. And you can say, well, Justin, do some edited videos. Well, then I got to take the computer on the road with me, and I got to sit there while I'm on a trip, a fishing trip. I got to take time away that I could be fishing or hanging out with the other guys that's going, and be sitting there at a computer in a hotel room. Like, I don't want to do that. Even if I was going to edit, I'd want to edit when I got back home. So that's the other situation. That's why, hell, that may be what gets this video posted. It's just to make sure I get enough content to get me through. So if you've sat through this and there ain't no more fish coming, I apologize. I'll just say I'm sorry. I ain't a damn bit sorry to the crappie fishermen for using these crappie as bait, and I'm going to be using them again tomorrow too if they stay alive. And if they don't stay alive, they're going in the cooler, and we're still going to use them. But I ain't apologizing at all to the crappie fishermen. But to those of you all out there that's maybe tuned into this video to see me reel in some fish for you, boy, it's been slim pickings today. It just has not, it just hasn't worked out. Wrong place at the wrong time, I get this. I mean, this place, my logic for setting up here is sound, and I know it's sound because I've caught fish here on this spot before. But it ain't worked out today. Maybe it's a bites at a different time. Maybe they just ain't here. Maybe them 2 fish I caught yesterday when I'd finished up my trip, maybe it was just a fluke. I don't know. But boy, when I come out here and I'd finished up dragging, I was like, I'm just going to sit here a second. I'd worked my way all the way out this creek. I was like, I'm just going to sit here. But just see what happens. Just give it a few minutes. Boom, flathead. Fun size. I mean, it was a nice flathead. Let that go. I dropped the same. It was a head bait. It was a skipjack head. I dropped the same exact bait down, and that bait, I mean, I'd pulled it all the way out of this creek. Like, it was well past the time I should have changed it. I threw that same head bait back down that the flathead ate, and then a few minutes later, boom, nice blue. I'm like, okay, we're on to something here. I'm coming back here tomorrow. I don't want to stick any more of these fish today because I wasn't going to, it was low late in the morning. I wasn't going to start filming at that point. But it's like, man, today's a different world. Now, the weather today, of course, the weather yesterday was fine too. It was cloudy yesterday, and we got some clouds up here now. But it was real cloudy yesterday, real cloudy day. And I don't know if that played a role in it or not, but the current flow is the same. The weather's virtually the same. So, I don't know. But tomorrow, I promise you, You come back, watch my channel again, the next video. I will find us a place just as bad tomorrow. we can't do much worse tomorrow wherever we go than what we've done today. I don't know where I'll go tomorrow. I may just wake up in the morning and be game time decision. Just go wherever the mood strikes me. I hope them crappie, though, survive the night, man. I know it ain't worked out today, but boy, I love having me a big live crappie on the hook. I just don't catch them. I'm a terrible crappie fisherman. If I go out and really try with the live scope, I can oftentimes find some. But to just go out on any given day and catch crappie, like, psh, slim chance. But I just got lucky yesterday, man. I'm just beating the banks and thump. Pull up that big crappie. I mean, it was one of the biggest crappie I've ever hooked. And he spit it right at the side of the kayak. And I was like, oh man, I wanted that so bad. But whatever I was casting to over there, like they were stacked on it. I mean, I caught several fish that we've kept here. I caught some others that were short. I threw back and they eventually just quit biting. I'm sure they were still there, just I couldn't see them because I didn't have graph or nothing on, but whatever it was, they were stacked on it. Just throwing that 1-inch gulp. I was getting them on the move. Like I let that gulp sink down and I just started to reel up when that first one hit. And I was like, okay, so he hit it on the move. So subsequent cast over there, I'd let it sink down. And when I'd be reeling it in would be when I'd get hit. Oftentimes when I throw that gulp, y'all have seen my ultralight videos, you know how I am. I'll throw it out there, I'll let it sink down. And if I don't get hit on the fall, I reel it in real fast, throw it out again, let it sink down, try to get hit on the fall. That's one thing I need to be better at. I need to be consciously more aware of it and do better is working that slow retrieve all the way back to the kayak. Doing that would probably get us more crappie catches through the year. I probably pull that bait right by crappie more frequently than I realize, but I'm just moving it so quick that they're not going to chase it. That probably happens more than I know. I get impatient. I get out there catching them fish on the ultralight and I make a few casts and don't get bit and I get impatient and I start fishing faster. And ultralight fishing is one of the things you need to slow down. You need to use lighter jig heads so that bait falls through the water column as slowly as possible. You reel it in, you need to work it slow. You need to slow down ultralight fishing. It will really help your cause. I just get impatient. I'm getting impatient right now. I think I'm about to leave here in a minute. I'd kind of like to fish another hour or so, but I mean, I'm looking at the clock here. It's after 11 now. That's when I was catching them fish yesterday, so clearly it ain't a timing thing. It's just I thought maybe it's like a later morning bite or potential or something, but that don't seem to be it. I don't know. They just stunk it up today, man. Chalk it down, mark it down here. We stunk it up today. We got 4 or 5 small fish. We had a live crappie get eaten, but didn't stay buttoned up. It's just one of them days where it didn't go as planned. It happens. I think our logic was sound. I know this spot has produced before. Our timing today was just off. They wasn't here, or they didn't want our 3-day-old skipjack, or you know what? We did get more action on the crappie than anything else, didn't we? I mean, I know the bites were limited, but because the first blue ate the fly. That first dink blue, it ate the fly. That other blue that ate the head, he had choked that head bait, but he had the fly too. He had eaten it first. And then we got the crappie, the 2 fish on the crappie there. Maybe it's our 3-day-old skipjack that's been the problem. Maybe it's just too damn old. Something's going on with this bait right here. This piece of crappie. See my rod tip, how it stood up? I guess I'll be getting out this afternoon maybe and trying to catch us some more bait. I don't know where you get a skipjack at right now. They've disappeared again. Just like this fish that was after this bait, he disappeared. I'll probably get out there this afternoon though. I'm gonna go home, and I got a pretty good haul to get back to the house from here, but I probably should go ahead and get on out of here, folks. I probably should, because I've got a good haul to get to the back of this creek. It's gonna take me a while. I got 45+ minute drive home, depending on traffic. And now I'm gonna need to go out this afternoon and try to find us some skipjack. So I probably should just go ahead and get on out of here. Go home, let the dog out, eat some lunch, and then try to catch us some bait, because this 3-day-old skipjack ain't got it done. And I don't know if that's been the problem. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But it's much easier to blame the bait than it is to blame myself. So that's what we're gonna go with. We're gonna blame the daggone bait, man. But these crappie, I'm gonna try to keep them alive. So next video, hopefully you'll see one of these crappie get eaten. I hope it tears the crappie fishermen up when it happens to. I hope it does. I hope it just lights a fire under their ass. I hope so. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Thanks for coming with me today. If you're seeing this, obviously this video got posted. Thanks for riding it out with me. I promise the next one, surely to God, the next trip will be better. It can't get much worse, can it? But thanks for riding it out with me. Those of you that like me, keep showing up on these trips. I appreciate the hell out of you. I'll see you tomorrow. Here, look right here, y'all. I got a big takedown. I'm getting packed up, ready to go. This head bait just went down. Well, for those of you that stuck around to the very end, we might finally have us a good fish here. That was a nice takedown. I've put up my tools. I've got my camera mount down. I just reeled up this rod. And this rod just, it went over, man. Thankfully, I hadn't put the camera up yet. I turned it off. I hadn't put it up yet. If nothing else, we at least, we're going from 4 fish to 5, or from 5 fish to 6, however many we've got today. It's been so few, you'd think I wouldn't have lost count, but I have. Get this thing up here. It was a nice takedown. I don't know if oh, he's taking back off now, ain't he? I was about to say, I don't think the fish is going to live up to the takedown. Well, he just took back off. Those are some decent bubbles right there coming up. Yep. I think this is going to be an okay fish right here. Yeah, for those of you that stuck around the end, we got us a fun sizer. He ain't gonna get him no front camera time though, because I done put the camera mount up. That's a decent fish though. Definitely the biggest one of the morning for sure. Oh, he ate the fly too. Did you see that? Did you see that? He's knocked the head bait off. He's got the fly right there in the mouth. Boy, something's up today, man. Something's up. They ain't wanting to touch that damn skipjack, but that's 2 fish on the fly, 2 on the crappie. Maybe they just wanted a smaller bait today. Maybe I should have used a small piece of skipjack. Cut the gut pocket out or something. I don't know. But either way, we got us a decent fish. I feel better about this video now. I feel better about it, even though it happened at the end and nobody's gonna stick around to see it. By gosh, we got us a decent fish right here. He got that hook, real buddy, right there, and he ate it. I done put my pliers up. There we go. I'm gonna hold you out like this, fish. That's all the camera time you get, and I don't know if I can fit y'all in the frame there. I don't know if I can. I done put the front camera mount down. There he goes. All right, that fish coming in clutch at the end. I'm still getting out of here anyway, though. I'll see you next time.